At least I hope we should be live. Let me make sure that we're live. Yeah, I am hosting. Yeah, we're live. So, what's good, everyone? This is Gameplay or not? Game Player. Okay, so yeah, Vitamin G Podcast episode 172. Close to the 200 mark there.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while, having a good time.
Give me a second so I tweet it out. Wait a minute. Yeah, so here I have it. Um, so share, tweet, will live come through. Sorry about that. So yeah, we clearly are short on crew. And give me a second. Why? So my disk. Give me. Yeah. So I'm gonna move this one to the right. No. Discord overlay. Cause my Discord overlay, I put it to the right. To the right because. Um. So yeah. Go ahead, Pharaoh. What you been playing? How are you?
Been playing, what did I play this week? I played a couple different things. I've been playing a little bit of Dragon Quest, but I just mainly like been leveling up a little bit. Uh, been working on my Madden scheme a bit. I haven't really been playing a lot of games, and my Madden ranking dropped down to like the 150s, so I've been climbing back into
Give me
the
a
top
second. Give me a
100.
second. He's saying you are low. But you are
Oh,
loud. Oh yeah, I think I know why. Give me a second, I will fix that right now. Say something now. Try again, Pero.
yeah, I said I've been I've been training on Dragon Quest, kind of leveling up a little bit.
Okay, enough.
Working.
Is that good? I'm making sure that the audio is very good before we continue. Cause give me a second.
Yeah, he said it's better.
Yeah,
I've
he's
been working
better.
on my
Okay, go ahead, continue
I've been
then.
working on my I've been working on my scheme and Madden a little bit. Um, I played a couple little games on Game Pass. Nothing too crazy. Where it's like a deep dive. It's just been like kind of reward points chasing. A little more coffee talk. It's a cool little narrative game. I think I made it to day 4 so far. It's like 14 days. I'm on day 4 of coffee talk, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, what genre are you a fan of? Because I know you love Final Fantasy VII, but what other stuff do you like?
I love narrative driven. I love games with a good narrative. So I say mainly like JRPG action adventure. Um, like the only thing I'm really like I don't have a taste for is first person games. I don't know why. Like I just
Hmm.
person view just kind of messes with me a little bit.
Then do me a favor and try both these demos out. You have a PlayStation 5, right?
I do, but I let my brother take it.
Okay.
But
Um,
it's right around the corner. But yeah, he's holding it right now,
okay,
so he can
so
play he can
do
play
you
NBA
feel
2K.
do you feel this on Xbox? Give that one a try. I don't think it's in Game Pass, so maybe the
It's a
demo is.
demo. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
demo.
yeah, give it the demo a try, because I highly recommend it, because the story is interesting.
Yeah, once I
And
finish Dragon Quest, I'm gonna jump over to Tales of Arise and like really dive into it. I really
mm,
like Tales of Arise. I started playing it, but then I realized I wanted all the DLC that came with it, and I didn't buy like the ultimate tier of it. I bought like the middle tier.
yeah,
So I was like, I'm gonna wait for the price to drop a little bit, and I'm gonna buy the ultimate tier because to buy all the DLC is so damn expensive
yeah,
that it's
I
not.
feel you.
It's it's not it's more economical just to buy the damn ultimate version
Yeah,
than it is to
yeah, I
buy
feel
all the
you.
DLC straight up on Tales of Arise. So I was like I'll wait. I'll get all the DLC and play the game with the full experience. So um, it's been over a year that Tales of Arise has been out. I'm pretty sure that the price will drop over the next like 2 months because it's the holiday season.
On
So
PlayStation or Xbox?
I'm sure across the board,
No,
the price of Tales of
then make sure to put it in your wish list. So then when the DLC dropped price wise, they let you know.
Yeah, I keep up on all that stuff.
Okay.
Xbox has a good way of marketing on your home screen if they have sales going on or
Gotcha.
something.
I
Okay.
appreciate Pharaoh that like at any given moment, like you still sort of always just point out, well, Xbox always just makes this thing so much easier in my life, or that's how to do these things, and in like sort of
Yeah,
effortlessly
they have a
slided
way of like
way.
marketing to you. As soon as you hop onto the Xbox, they have a way of like just letting you know we have this sale going on every given time.
I hear you. It's just like you're an Xbox supporter through and through.
I let it slide because I am what called a host. So go ahead, continue.
Well, Xbox is my third party box. So if it's a third party game, it's on both platforms. I'm most likely gonna get it on Xbox. I have the PlayStation so that I can, play their exclusive games and the games that they lock up as timed exclusives, like Final Fantasy VII Remake and stuff like that. Um, I I mean, I'm with the play. I feel like the PlayStation 5 UI just is nowhere near as good as it was on PlayStation 4, and it's
No,
just
it's actually better. Not only
I don't think
that,
so.
Microsoft
I don't
is
think it's better.
copying. You have Microsoft fans want to copy of PlayStation. Like, nah, we're not doing that. The UI is actually good.
I actually think the UI is a mess. Like I think
Interesting.
PlayStation
5
Plus.
UI is not good.
Yep, I
The
think
PlayStation
PlayStation.
4 UI was really
One
good. It was
percent
really
at a time,
clean.
because otherwise get clustered. Go ahead, Zero. Make your point.
I was saying PS4 UI was really clean, and
Yeah, but
I
that
feel like
makes
PlayStation
sense.
5. I feel like they tried to streamline it a lot more, but it actually kind of broke it a little bit, and it's just
So,
not what it used to be.
the PS5 is clean because it took them a long time to refine it. Like the PS4, I meant.
They need to get back to work. I don't know.
Yeah,
Me
I
personally.
mean, when it comes to PlayStation, I have a lot of issues, and I'm gonna get comment on that on my end. Zero, how are you, man? What you been playing?
I am well, guys. Always good to be back here. Still, well, work's been crazy, so I wasn't able to finish what I was supposed to finish. But Yakuza, Like a Dragon, is still on my number one radar. I will be done with it by this week. I am only 2 chapters away from the end of the game. Because I gotta move on. Uh, and I got back into Apex, so like that's gonna start eating up more of my time.
Yeah.
What
So
happened to you in Elden Ring?
I just got I have slight like gaming ADHD. So like I was playing Elden Ring, loved it. Then I was like, let me try Persona 5, just curious. And I was like, oh, I really like this game. Then I was like, oh wait, Yakuza Dragon's out. Let me go get this. And so there was no feasible way I could do all 3 of them. And then Destiny 2 dropped, I think a new season, so I sort of wrapped back into that. So I stopped Persona. I jumped back and forth between Yakuza and Elden Ring, and then I was just like, I just want to power through and finish Yakuza. If I can just get that done, then I can go back to Elden Ring and then finish that up. And of course, in between that, Live Alive came out. I started playing Arceus again for a little bit just to sort of get back into Pokemon mood. And now Apex is sort of the focus of my games as a service attention. And they've got this brand new event, which actually I love. My favorite mode in any first person shooter is gun game. If you don't know what gun game is, I think it originally came from Call of Duty, or they might have been one of the more popular ones of it. But every time you get a kill, you get a new your gun changes, and the point is to get to like let's say there's 10 guns. You get 10 kills and you get to the last gun, and each gun theoretically gets progressively harder to kill people with, depending on your skill level. So it starts off with LMG, and then you might get an assault rifle or a machine gun or sniper. But by the end, you might be using like a knife or a pistol. And so like therein lies the challenge. Apex seemed to create a whole mode designed around it too, but their version of gun game, the guns are random, except for the end. The end is always it's a throwing knife, so you got to kill people with a throwing knife. So I'm having an absolute blast with that. So it's really good to get back into Apex. Still one of my favorite shooters out on the market right now. Like I like
So Zero, I do have a question, real quick question. Just an estimate for yourself, and I'll ask Omar this too as an estimate. How many games do you think you would finish in a year if you were banned from playing multiplayer?
Oh
Oh,
god.
yeah.
I think I could do, and I will lower myself just because like I spend a lot of time out on the
It
weekends.
depends, eh?
I
What
think
you're
I could
playing.
I think I could finish 2 60-hour games a month.
How much?
So you
How many?
so you saying you'll probably finish about 24 games a year?
I think I get about 24 games a year if I did not have to play any multiplayer live service games. Like easy. And like that,
Yeah,
I think that's
I
being
think I'll be
generous.
30.
Yeah, I think that's being generous. Like because Live Alive, I can knock that out in a day. There's some South Park games that I haven't gotten to. That's like only 30 hours or something. I feel yeah, I could probably get to like 30, but like minimum estimate 24 easily.
Check your DMs, Twitter
Yeah,
DM.
I feel the same way.
Check your Twitter
I think
DM.
I think I feel like I'll be like mid-30s.
Yeah, it's surprising, right?
Multiplayer? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think about like growing up, I didn't do a lot of I didn't do a multiplayer in the way it exists as in today. Because like multiplayer was like what's it called? You had to be with a friend. So like if your friends weren't home, then all I was doing was playing single player games. But now, I mean, I can play with my friends all the time. Like so it makes it much easier. So like that access to multiplayer is like always it's a pull. It's a strong pull. And especially when you just occasionally I just want to shoot somebody. That's all I want to do. I just want to pull the trigger and like not think about anything else, not have to like read the story or care about it. I just want to like pull the trigger and shoot some people. And that it always gets me, man. It always gets me.
Gotcha. As for me, so, oh boy. I, okay. Valhalla is bloated. So, I was playing it, and I'm enjoying the side quest. There are some gems in there. Like, who heard of the green people, lore or folklore?
Green people?
Green kids, basically.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there's a lore about green kids that came from almost like a parallel universe, you can call it, where everything is just green. So they have gems like that hidden in the what's called in the side quests that I enjoyed. But my biggest issue is the game is bloated. It's like it's big for the sake of being big. It's it's massive. Like I am 80 hours in and I just scratched the surface when it comes to main quest. And mind you,
I mean, Assassin's Creed was built in a way that would encourage you to use microtransactions for fast travel and things like that. So it's purposely built to be that large and bloated in order to encourage its gamers to spend more money inside the game.
How does it feel navigating through the world?
okay, so you have your horse, you can ride him. A little bit janky, you can always call on him. If he dies, which he can die. So if anyone played Ghost of Tsushima, You know how you can almost cheat death with Ghost of Tsushima by sacrificing your horse? So what you do, you jump from a high ledge, and just before you hit the edge, you jump. So your heart takes the damage and dies, and you survive. Well, you can't do that with this one. If you jump from a high place, you're gonna take damage. But there is a skill tree for it, and one of the best things that Assassin's Creed have done with this one is give you the ability to respec at any time at no cost. At any time in the game, you can respec your skills without losing anything. So it's very genius when it comes to that. Fast travel is interesting. Not interesting. It's fine. It's nice. It's quick. Yeah. No. So there are three ways to travel. You can either travel by your foot, or you can go by boat, or mm, or you can go by what's called horse. So there is no flying because you're literally playing during the period of the Viking and stuff like that. And there are a lot of, not a lot, what, two, three mini games that you play, and it feels like, you know how you have anime that is episodic? That's basically what the main story seems to be so far. It's an episodic. You're building up relationship, befriending people. So you go there, for example, there is a king that need to be installed. So you install them, you solve issues, and you befriend the king and you call it a day. So far. Maybe later everything gonna get combined and we're gonna have a grand story, but so far it's just episodic. It,
So,
yeah.
with Assassin's Creed, it's to my knowledge, I kind of fell off of it, but to me, the franchise is always like focused on historic periods. Is there one that's like modern,
Yeah, there is one. What do you mean modern?
like in like kind of like current day settings, like taking
Mm,
place somewhere between like 1990 and you know 2050?
I
No.
don't know, but there is Syndicate. You play in London, and I forgot if it's
I
modern or
feel
not.
like today's age is like
No,
the age of
no,
like
but
where like
so basic.
an assassin would thrive.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, let me get going on a different rant.
Like
The
what's the like
oh,
earliest the closest time period they have till today is kind of what
well,
I was kind of trying
so
to figure out.
so
I guess London would be your answer.
so if you played all the previous Assassin's Creed, I'm talking about the main one before they went the what's called RPG route with it. It was actually building up to create it for us to play an Assassin's Creed where it's modern. Cause what's the point of
Oh,
Assassin? Sorry?
yeah. So I know it was kind of getting there. That's why I was asking. Do they have one that's like kind of in that
No, they don't
vein?
have one. Cause what happened is Ubisoft looked at the analytic and apparently casuals don't care about Desmond. So they killed off Desmond and they introduced you a new woman, a new person. It's a woman called Layla, I think, or Leah. I forgot what her name is, and she is, get this, an ex Ubisoft employee in the game.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh,
I think if I'm
ooh,
correct. I never played
ooh.
Origin, so don't quote me on that. I remember it sparking controversy. Um, so the basic issue is they killed an entire build up to an actual modern Assassin's Creed story because of casuals. That's basically it. Yeah. So yeah. The other game that I'm playing is I actually dropped Assassin's Creed, not because I don't want to play it, but because I'm taking a break from it. Otherwise, kind of like what's his name, Pharaoh. I mean Zero with his multiplayer game. Basically, Assassin's Creed you can almost call it a multiplayer game because it literally have microtransaction, cosmetic, but still it
Yeah.
also have what's called an online shop. Viper Reap was Desmond was part of the Ezio series, and that's what I'm talking about. But Desmond never actually had his own game where you play as him and you're doing the assassinating and stuff like that. Like,
You're right.
but that's what it was building up for. Like
Yeah,
after
that made sense. That's kind of where I thought they were going with it. Like,
they were.
you get all this training in the Animus, and then
That's what I was
you're
saying.
supposed to.
That's what I was just saying to him. I said, did we ever get to that point in the series? Because I kind of fell off with it, like especially after like.
Nah,
Precisely. So
nah, and then they Game
I
of
was
Thrones
saying
this
that,
ass real quick.
so because
I was
of
saying that modern settings kind of feels like perfect for like an assassin in today's everything going on
well,
today's political climate and
it
things like that.
it would be
No,
very.
like
I,
look at Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was like where I expected like that live action like Assassin's Creed
well,
shit to be.
well,
And it didn't happen.
Watchdog and Assassin's Creed are in the same universe. Believe it or
I
not.
know.
So
Zero. I mean, what's
it
Jube? I asked a question that kind of led in us talking about this. If there was no multiplayer games, if you were banned from playing multiplayer games for a year, how many games would you complete?
How many games did I complete?
Yes.
A lot
If you
more,
couldn't play,
to be honest.
if you couldn't play multiplayer for a year, what do you estimate you would complete
A lot more.
in a year?
so how
You
many?
got thought a number. What got thought a
Probably
number?
like without multiplayer at all, probably like 20 games.
Yeah, it also depends on the game. Like for example, Viper Reap, shout out to him, one of my co-hosts, a game player. He's playing what's the name of the game? Soul Hacker 2, and that game is a JRPG, and that game is big. So if you're gonna play Soul Hacker 2, and now he is playing a Final Fantasy Origin, the one from Neo, creator of Neo, that's also a big game. But he also play smaller indies, like for example, everybody play golf or something like that, and that's like a 10-hour game. So it differs which game you play and stuff like that. But yeah, the second game I'm playing is called Valkyrie Elysium, and yeah, I'm
How
enjoying
is
it.
that?
I'm enjoying it.
Good.
Story is cool. You got a lot of flashy moves, flashy skills, flashy characters you can send off to help you. Story. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I'm brand new to the franchise, so I'm not sure if the character that they introduced now it's a character that I should know about. So apparently, and this is also um I don't know how someone like Viper would feel about this, but how would you guys feel if you were not per se forced, but you had to visit one place 3 times in the story?
I mean, it just depends. Like for instance, I don't know, Final Fantasy 7 remake. How many times you got to go to Walmart?
Oh my
You gotta
god.
go there you gotta go there like 3-4 times in the game. It just it depends on the game, I guess.
I
Okay,
would
so
say because I looked it up. Valkyrie Elysium is. I was curious about this too. Is the true sequel to Valkyrie Profile,
Yep.
which was another game that due to this think time of the era. I think it did have you go back to like multiple locations multiple times to like get things
But
done over
that's
and
a
over.
JRPG. This is an action RPG.
But they're kind of cut from the exact same cloth, being a
Okay, fair
sequel to each
point, fair
other.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so maybe that's why I'm not used to it. Because to me, that's just like because what happened is you find side quest, but you cannot activate them unless you go to your main hub and then you go to the side quest and then they take you to a different location, which basically means the first area in the game where you do all the thing all over again.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
with side
I can
quest.
think of a lot of games. I can think of a lot of games, especially like JRPGs, where you spend a lot of time going back to the same
Hmm.
location. You
C-
know,
Yeah, but
Cause
especially if
that
you're talking,
JRPG,
especially if you're talking about like Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy games send you to the same location a lot.
but that JRPGs, that I'm used to that with
I'm just saying
JRPGs.
it's common in in JRPGs for sure. I know that much.
It's just weird for me with action RPG to do that. So yeah, I'm playing Valkyrie Elysium and I'm enjoying it. Like, I recommend it. There's literally a free demo that you can play, and for the people that are black, one of the main character is black, and apparently you're gonna get to play as her in a free DLC. So shout out to Square Enix for that. And she looked
is it
good.
is it a Valkyrie?
Yeah, she is Hilda. I
It's
don't
a
know
Black
if you
Valkyrie.
know her, but Hilda is her name. And yeah, she have a story. I'm curious what her story is. I'm playing it on the hard difficulty because according to Jay Barry, shout out to him, if Valkyrie games, you need to always play them on hard because that's where you get your most out of your game. Because on hard mode, you get additional characters, you get best weapons and stuff like that. While on easy mode, you don't even get the best ending. So I'm playing it on hard, and it's no joke. Like enemies, it's so very quick. The Valkyrie, at some point you unlock the ability to train. You can have up to 10 enemies at once fighting you. You can have them, what's called, be aggressive or be still while you practice your combos. So there is a lot to this game, a lot of depth to it. It just I don't know what the fuck is Square Enix thinking, man. They released Valkyrie Elysium and Diofield in in a span of 10 days almost.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
nah, but how do you expect, like,
Square Enix is all over the place. I think at this point, I think there's some sort of disjointed leadership at Square Enix, and they're just doing things that don't necessarily make a lot of sense.
um,
Uh,
I
like
don't,
for instance, having Octopath Traveler 1 on Xbox and having Octopath Traveler 2 on PlayStation.
no,
That
that
doesn't
makes,
make
that
sense.
makes sense
It
because
doesn't.
Xbox,
It doesn't make
it
sense.
does
It doesn't
make,
make sense
let
unless you're
me
gonna
explain why. Let
unless
me
you're gonna put
explain why.
Octopath Traveler on PlayStation as well. It doesn't make sense to
Let
have
me,
your
let me
consumer
explain
have to
why.
jump from platform to platform in order to enjoy your series. It doesn't make sense.
Because one PlayStation missed out on it because of I'm pretty sure it was a deal between
I understand that
Nintendo
it
and
may have been a
Square.
deal, but it doesn't make sense for your consumer.
I feel you with this one,
You're servicing the
but
consumer.
the reason why they're skipping Xbox for now, we don't know if it's gonna come later to Xbox. It's because of the engagement numbers, like
Okay,
zero
but
point something.
it still doesn't matter. Like that doesn't matter. You still Octopath Traveler 1 should go to the PlayStation. You shouldn't have to get an Xbox to play Octopath Traveler 1. and then play Octopath Traveler 2
Oh,
on the PlayStation.
oh,
That doesn't
that
make
I
sense.
am.
No matter how you slice it, it doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, I'm
Or you have
curious
to get a
if
Switch.
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
it's stupid. It's stupid.
I'm
It doesn't
curious
like
if they
no
gonna.
matter how you say it, you can try to justify it all you want. It
No, I'm
doesn't
not.
make sense. Sony, like at this point, Square is kind of in a position where they need an overhaul of management and how they release items and to what platforms they release items to, and does it make sense? How does this impact our consumers? Because at the end of the day, like you're here to service the consumer. It doesn't matter what platform you go to. If people aren't buying your game because they realize they have to get two different platforms to experience it, it doesn't make sense.
We need to know why it skipped PlayStation. That's what we need to know. Cause why would you skip? Yeah, Viper said it. It should have went to PlayStation to begin with. Cause no Square knows where all the money is made.
Well,
So
apparently all the money is made on Switch because it went to Switch first.
yeah, it makes sense
It,
because
I mean,
on the
but I'm just saying in general, you gotta do better with how you release
yeah,
things and when you release them too.
Square leadership is questionable at best. I was I would love for Kofi to be here. Maybe he can share, fill in some insight of what's going on with Square, any rumors, and something like that. Like to me, Square feels like it's getting ready to be acquired by someone. It doesn't like that's not. It's like they're literally running with as a headless chicken. That feels.
Oh, I don't necessarily believe that Square is getting ready for acquisition, but I think they're getting to a point where they may not have a choice but to get acquired by someone.
What do you mean by that?
It, I mean, the finances are going down, and their ability to develop titles. I mean, they've already talked about it publicly that it's starting to be impacted by their losses, their ability to develop games. So at some point,
I
if
mean,
that continues to be the case, they may be if they want to operate the same way that they have, and if these CEOs want to walk away with a good chunk of change in their pocket, they may be forced into a sale at some point in time. Oh, here goes Kofi.
Hey guys,
hey,
sorry for being so late.
hey. So we are
Kofi,
gonna.
bro.
Did you check? Did you check that Shinji Mikami interview? Please tell me yes.
I did not.
I
did not.
hate you. Can you please go through it very fast now? Cause we honestly gonna talk about it.
Okay,
And
okay.
so yeah, and then we have good people, and Viper wanna join, but he gonna be able to join after 30
Cool.
minutes. So yeah, Jubei, how are you? What you been playing?
Hey, yo, so I've been playing Deathloop and Madden.
How's Deathloop?
Um,
Oh,
How's
I like
they?
Deathloop.
I mean,
How is they? I
I
in
I
Deathloop.
I I played 10 minutes of it on PlayStation when I was game sharing with FC, and it's nice to be able to just play it.
Oh, 10
I
minutes.
I
You
like
got your
it.
intro song. Congratulations.
I did, bro. I did. But I'm actually really excited to play Grounded 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
Once that goes live, that's what I'm excited
You mean
for.
the game is about to
So
actually release after 3 years of being in open beta?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if what I don't know is if my progress is going to carry over. I heard it would, but I don't know if I'm going to start fresh or not. So either way, if my bases and stuff that I've already built are there, that's going to be lit.
I have a question. We allow profanity, right, on our chat?
Yeah, it's
Or
not.
what?
It's
Yeah.
not necessarily cursing that's an issue. It's just more so, we don't want like.
Oh yeah, we don't want people to insult each other. I got you on that front. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Got you. Okay.
We're definitely
Did
not PG-13.
yeah. Did you get a chance to try Valkyrie Elysium and Deerfield, Jube, the demo?
No, not yet.
Oh, Jube, it's so good.
Are you interested in
Is it?
any
So
of?
good.
Maybe.
Okay,
What
gotcha.
demo?
Do you feel
Deerfield
powerful?
and Valkyrie Elysium.
I might check it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've been like trying to push myself to study for this thing test.
Yeah, do your test and then play, because I recommend it. I played the demo and I had fun with it. But again, what the fuck are you doing, Square? I need to shoot between Valkyrie Elysium or Valkyrie Lennis, which it got delayed till December, and so either Valkyrie Lennis, Valkyrie Elysium or Diafield, and I shot Valkyrie. Because I know Valkyrie, I can finish it early, but I'm playing it now on hard difficulty. Kofi, how are you, man? What you been playing? And yeah,
Yeah, man, I've been really blessed to. I tried a bunch of demos leading up to now. I don't know if I even talked about it last week. So I beat Stray. Really, really enjoyed it
yay!
because I was under a rock when it released, so I didn't know anything about it. I'll say
Mm-hmm.
the thing I liked about it the most is the interaction with the robots in the world. I didn't even know there was
Yeah,
robots in the game, and I also like that. And I think a lot of indie games do this well, but a lot of the mechanics introduced are not overly used. You know, like halfway through, you get the ability to kind of shoot those grubs that try to eat you, but
mm-hmm.
it's not a mechanic they use in the latter half of the game. It's just gone, and they
Oh yeah,
continue to
it
introduce new ways to interact with the world, and
yeah. I
that's
have a question
so.
to you, and
Yeah,
to me it felt like Concrete Genie. First half was chill, second half was all actiony. Would you agree?
yeah, I kind of agree. It really escalated, and yeah, the last like 30 minutes of Concrete Genie, just to bring that up again, which is such a wow. You're surfing on your brush, and this is amazing. And
And
I'm so excited.
beforehand, you're literally painting calmly. That's kind of how Stray was, literally running around, having fun, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you switch the flip.
And
So
in
yeah,
that first hour, I was like, I don't know how much I'm gonna like this because like you were saying, I thought it was like super relaxing the whole time,
yeah,
but no, like
it felt
it
boring.
really, yeah, that first like grind, that first hour was just like, but after that, I like when you get to the city and you're talking to all the characters, I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
wow, like I'm really into this, and like kind of some of the puzzles with how to remember like the DJ group and you had to like demo their disc or something
oh
like
yeah,
that. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
Did
Um,
you do? Did you do the what's called the first trophy in the game where you need to go from point A to point B without having any robot touching you?
Yeah.
oh no, I didn't do that.
So me and Viper and Nate, we did almost like what's called Viper did a giveaway for the person that does it, and I did it. I was the first
Oh
one to get
shoot.
the trophy, and Nate already got it. And Viper, what? He tried it for 45 minutes and couldn't get the trophy and gave up on it because it's luck
See,
based. It's actually luck
I
based.
wish I knew about it. I wish I knew about it because I got it the first time I played that sequence.
Oh
I could have fucked y'all
wait.
shit up.
So wait, it's the sequence when a robot's trying to grab you, or the grub
Yeah, yeah, no,
things?
no, no. It's literally the first time you meet what's called the small robot that try to eat you.
Small,
Yeah,
It
small.
you
Interesting.
need
it
to out.
it's when the grubs are chasing you,
Yeah,
Kofi.
thank you,
You
the
know,
Okay.
grabs.
not the robot. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. So you need to you outrun them. So there is a trophy where you must outrun them without getting hit, not even once. So they are not allowed to slow you down. But here's the kicker: their placement is random. It's literally RNG based. So you can,
Uh,
let's say, one corner, it can be grub free, but when you reload, it can be filled with grub.
so it's just like
So,
luck of the draw.
precisely. And sadly, Viper here was the unluckiest, because 45 minutes later he couldn't get it.
Yeah, I don't think I got that, but to be honest, I'd have to go back and check the trophy, and then I'll just be really quick with the rest of stuff. Doing a ton of Horizon 2 right now. I'm already level
Ooh.
26, and I started pretty recently, guys. I was not playing in July. I was not playing in
Uh,
August. But yeah, I'm
Question:
level
are you
26.
making use of the uh, animation skip? They
I am
actually
not,
they
not at
actually
all. You talking
introduce
about conversations?
No, I would never recommend you doing that. Absolutely not. But the pickup animations, they actually have now the ability to remove that. So basically, you do pick up like Ghost of Tsushima instead of actually pick up.
But wait a minute, didn't Horizon 1 have the
No.
pickup animation? It
Yeah,
didn't.
it did, and 2 had it as well, but later they introduced the ability to remove that pickup animation. And
I heard about that patch,
and
but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't
trust
bother me.
trust me, make use of it, because you're like me, you're gonna grab a lot, and
I am.
that and I would not be surprised if at least 5 hours would be shaved off of my
Interesting.
playthrough if I would trust me. Pick up animation. You don't want them. Also, don't forget you can actually now respect your character, your skills.
Yes. And I do like that you could respec. You know me, as I talked about before, I'm a trapper. So, like, I'm already maxed out in trapping,
Oh,
and I
okay.
love it. I've got bombs all over the place. And I'm in the background with my arms crossed. Boom, boom, boom,
Which
boom.
difficulty are you
Everybody's
playing
dead.
at?
What? You said what? Oh, just normal. Just normal. Nothing
Okay.
crazy. I basically just like launched the game and started playing. I didn't really like change anything about
Mm-hmm.
the configuration. GT7, I just went through and finished. I had like one endurance race left to finish like the gold trophy campaign before I disappear from the world. So I did that, and I'm playing a ton of other stuff. I mean, I played the Wolong demo. I played the SD Gundam Alliance demo.
Yo,
Uh,
is SD Gundam like that, bro?
Yo, I
Is it like
like
that?
it. I think it's
Okay.
good. I'll say this: what people didn't like about it is like you're basically correcting a timeline that's like screwed up. Like you're like, oh, like go beat this boss, and Pharaoh, you'll like this. Like you go to fight the boss, and like, what is the name of the Gundam from Blood Orphans? Like Barbados.
Yeah.
Like Barbados will show up, and you're like, wait a minute, you're not in this world, and you have to like beat Barbados, and then you have to play the level again without Barbados to fix this like timeline dilemma. So some people don't like that like you play the same level twice with a different boss, but I was liking it. I thought because like the countering system was fun, and it was a 3-player co-op campaign. So that demo was sharp to me. I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't get the game, but it was a fun demo. Deal Field was great. Star Ocean was great. And there's another demo. Oh, I played a free trial or a no expense trial of an RPG called Fairy Fencer F. So yeah, just all over the
Let me
place right
guess.
now.
That's Japanese only?
It is for now. I mean, so it's a tactics game based on what was an original turn-based RPG that came out on like PS3. I actually never played those games, but I just tried the free trial on PlayStation Plus in Japan, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's Nippon. Is it Nippon Ichi? No, it's Compile Heart. Compile Heart developed it, and it was cool. I mean, I'll be honest, it wasn't like for me, but it was cool.
Gotcha. Then let's start our first topic. Zero, would you like to read what Satya Nadella said?
What am I reading?
It's in our what's called uh, Twitter account, this Twitter group. Microsoft CEO combined Activision Blizzard merger will be approved. Or should I
Yeah,
read
give
What?
it?
me one second. Let's see what we got. Microsoft CEO confident Activision's Blizzard merger Sony competition will come through by George Yang. Updated September 10, 22. Okay. This is from IGN. George Yang, Microsoft CEO. How do you say his name? Satya Nadella?
Satya
Satya
Nadella.
Nadella.
Oh, all right, I got it. Is still confident that the company's acquisition of Activision Blizzard will be approved and said, if this is about competition, let us have competition. In an interview with Bloomberg, Nadella says, of course, any acquisition of this size will go through scrutiny, but we feel very, very confident that will come out. A key concern, particularly for the Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, in the UK, has been that the merger could be anti-competitive for the gaming industry as a whole. However, Nadella points out that Microsoft's main competitor Sony has also acquired studios, including big ones like Bungie. Nadella continues, so if this is about competition, let us have competition. Concerns surrounding the anti-competitiveness of the merger center around franchises like Call of Duty potentially becoming exclusive to Microsoft platforms. Xbox's Phil Spencer has already confirmed that he'd like to keep Call of Duty a multi-platform franchise for the time being, but add its titles to Xbox Game Pass in order to make it accessible in different ways to Xbox customers. But PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan lambasted Xbox offer of extending Call of Duty's availability on PlayStation for only 3 additional years after existing contracts expire, calling it inadequate. Other companies, such as Electronic Arts, thinks that a successful merger could mean new opportunities for their own franchises. CEO Andrew Wilson says that the multi-platform nature of the Battlefield franchise could benefit from Call of Duty potentially becoming a Microsoft exclusive one. The near $70 billion deal is by far the biggest gaming buyout of its kind and is being scrutinized by regulators across the world. The deal is undergoing investigation in the UK, US, Brazil, and more. The final decision is likely to be months away at least.
Okay, so I want to say something. Remember when
Electronic Arts, man.
Phil? Remember when you said what's his name? Who said that we don't know if future Bethesda games are coming to PlayStation? I said about what's called the next Elder Scroll and the next Doom are not coming to PlayStation. Who told me that?
Maybe.
We don't even know if there's gonna be a next Doom.
No,
We don't know. They haven't
so
announced it.
about that, not only we do know, Phil Spencer
don't.
himself and CMA just confirmed it, and this was a few weeks ago, but we have never spoke
Okay,
about
but
it.
until the game comes out, there's a lot that can happen.
No,
between now and then.
he said,
Yes,
CMA said, and they quoted Phil Spencer saying that the next Elder Scroll and the next Doom is going to be my console on Xbox only, exclusively. So there is confirmation of that.
Is the game? There is no confirmation because the
There-
game is not out yet.
There is. It's literally from
No,
the
but
mouth.
here's the thing. It could launch exclusively, and then a year later they can here you go, PlayStation. They could still do that.
No, that calls
they
time
can do whatever the fuck they
exclusive.
want with it.
That calls time
I
exclusive.
mean,
That's
it's
different.
still them, and you're giving your fan base a benefit of that.
There's nothing wrong with exclusivity.
No, there is nothing.
Exclusives haven't become a bad thing until Xbox started.
No,
publishing
no one said anything wrong with exclusivity. There is something wrong when you promise your fan base one thing and then you say something different. I said it from day one.
What did they promise and then do different?
Phil Spencer, Microsoft, and Bethesda were tiptoeing when it comes to the acquisition before the deal was even.
He said he doesn't. He said he doesn't want to take away options for people, and he couldn't talk about it.
Yeah, you don't have before you acquire a company, you cannot say what the company will or will not do because you don't own it yet.
Wait, so why is Microsoft
There's nothing lying or disingenuous about that.
So
all right, so as soon as the acquisition went through, right? As soon as the acquisition went through, did Xbox not fly down to Bethesda headquarters and have a press conference as soon as the acquisition went through? And the first thing they said when the acquisition went through and they were able to finally comment on what their intentions with Bethesda IPs were, is that they will only release where Game Pass exists. That was the first thing they said. The moment that the acquisition went through and they were able to finally comment, they said what their intentions were. They weren't able to say anything prior to that time, though.
So why is Phil Spencer and Microsoft all of a sudden now doing business with PlayStation? They don't own the IP yet. Yet they are out there doing business without that before the acquisition is completed, like now.
Because we're getting access to private information that we weren't supposed to get access to.
Because Microsoft put it because Phil Spencer put it in the open. Literally what Jim Ryan said.
It has nothing to do with Phil Spencer putting it out in the open. It has to do with the Brazilian regulators leaking it, and then the CMA talking about it, and then forcing Xbox. Xbox didn't come out here and voluntarily say, that we're keeping everything multi-platform and this and this and that. That wasn't the case.
We seen it.
We didn't even start talking about this, about where Call of Duty's gonna be.
The reason why I'm talking.
The news started leaking. Let's keep a timeline of events, kind of.
To enter Dragon Hearty Boy, Heart Yobi. The reason why I'm talking about it is because Microsoft is
Not yet.
trying to do the exact same thing now with the what's called Activision Blizzard deal, and they're not getting away with it. And that's what I wanted
There's nothing to get away with.
But there is when you
There
say
is not, because one of the stipulations of this deal is Call of Duty can't be exclusive. They already know this. Plus, it's not profitable for them to make it exclusive.
and so why would you say I can only put so why would Phil Spencer said the deal is only for 3 more years? This is so CMA, so CMA have it covered.
Alright, so
CMA have it covered.
Indefinite deals. Nobody does indefinite contracts. Like, that's not a thing. Contracts are always cover a period of time, and then after that period of time, you renegotiate because the IP may be worth more. So you may charge PlayStation more for your IP to be on their platform. Like, you
Exactly. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot?
Or the value of Call of Duty may plummet, and then PlayStation may say your IP is not as valuable anymore, so we're not going to pay as much for Call of Duty. So that's why you don't do these indefinite deals, because they're not beneficial for either side. Like, you're not going to get into a 5-10. You're not going to get into a 5-10 year deal on any IP. Like the NFL is one of the most profitable.
I was about to say that.
In the world. And TV market don't want to do indefinite contracts with them because they know that the sport could go down, and the NFL doesn't want to do indefinite contracts because the value of their sport may go up and they may be able to renegotiate. Like, you always want to be able to renegotiate, into a position that may end up being more favorable for you.
Okay, I have a question. So Microsoft is competing with PlayStation, right?
Sure.
Yes.
So what was Phil Spencer's comment then when he said we are not competing with PlayStation, our competition are what's called Amazon, Google, and I forgot the third party.
Right.
I mean,
they
to be
were
fair,
talking about cloud at the time. Like, you gotta look at the context of the comment.
or if it makes it easier, Phil was wrong.
He was absolutely wrong.
Like perfectly fine. Phil was wrong. I don't know if that really changes anything other than I guess it's nice to know that Phil can be wrong.
To me, here's how I'm seeing it, and feel free to disagree with me. I believe Microsoft expected this deal to go through smoothly, but time after time, they absolutely
no, they didn't.
No $70 billion deal goes through smoothly.
Not in a matter of that. In a matter of they tried it, and they tried it the exact same way with the Bethesda deal, and this is why I am telling you. Focus on what CMA is focusing on. They are because they said it best. They said that this acquisition is not gonna hurt PlayStation or Sony in the meantime. It's about the next generation.
Okay.
When you
I have a question.
Go
ahead and finish your point, and then I have a question.
Yeah. When the next generation start, when Microsoft comes and says, we're pulling Call of Duty out of PlayStation. That's what people need to focus on. Go ahead now. Say your point.
Okay. So why weren't people focusing when PlayStation pulled Final Fantasy 7 and 16? Because
that's not the publisher.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. They're doing the same shit. They are using money. They are using money to stop it from going somewhere else.
You're not gonna compare a $70 fucking billion acquisition with exclusive.
It doesn't matter how much it is.
It does. There's a difference.
Call of Duty is a very small part of the Activision deal. The Activision deal is about mobile. It's not fucking about Call of Duty. You're looking at the wrong fucking hand. It's about mobile.
Absolutely
It's about
not.
mobile.
Dude,
It's
if you
about mobile.
truly believe that a $70 billion acquisition deal is just about mobile, nah,
It
absolutely
is.
not.
It
It's
is.
actually about mobile.
It
Well,
is
I
about
mean,
It's
mobile.
not.
mobile
Okay,
generally
okay,
isn't
okay,
that
okay,
exclusive.
okay,
No,
okay,
no.
okay,
The mobile
okay.
division, the mobile division already makes more than Call of Duty ever will. It
Okay,
already
okay,
does.
okay, I will
It's about
believe you.
mobile.
Okay, okay, I will believe you. But if Crash, not Pyro, maybe Pyro, I forgot.
When's
Uh,
the last time Crash did numbers?
It hasn't.
what does that
The
matter?
PS2, nigga. That's the
If
last time
Crash,
Crash did numbers.
if
You're using
Crash,
it for your argument.
or
That's why it
if
matters.
any
That's what I'm
of
saying.
the what's called Activision and Blizzard IP becomes exclusive, then by definition you what's called um
So if they purchase a publisher, they're not able to take any of the IPs that that publisher owns and make any of them exclusive.
yeah, because
Like
he
they
told
own them,
me
but
it's
they
not
can't
about
even
the
decide what to do
he
with their
told
own
me
stuff.
the focus is not about exclusivity. He told me that what's called Call of Duty Mobile makes more than Call of Duty
Well,
normal Call of
the
Duty.
only thing that PlayStation cares about is Call of Duty. That's the only thing that PlayStation is making a fuss about.
But
PlayStation doesn't
No,
care about that.
no, because Microsoft came out and said that all what's called I forgot the exact statement, but it was in the sense of existing IPs are gonna remain platform, multi-platform. I remember
Okay,
that
and
quote. And this was for the Activision Blizzard deal. So existing IPs, we're talking Crash, we're talking Overwatch, we're talking. So this is what I'm telling you. The second they pull up an IP and take it away, then it's not. Then they went out of their way and lied.
I don't get the issue about uh these games becoming exclusive. I don't like you're acting like there's not comparable
Because
games
Microsoft
on
themselves
the
said they wouldn't.
Yo,
That's what
yo,
I'm
okay.
focusing
when
on.
Yeah, but
Final Fantasy comes to Xbox like that, you'll have a point. I'm still being forced to buy that shit on PlayStation if I want to play it.
Which
I'm being
game?
forced to.
the point that I'm ultimately making is that you're acting like Call of Duty not being on PlayStation is going to just kill the Sony brand, and Sony will no longer exist because they don't have Call of Duty. Like, I get that Call of Duty is a big game, but no third party game is so big that it'll completely sink a platform.
It will not sink, but it will absolutely cripple.
Okay, so I mean, so what I'm saying,
Are you
let's
aware?
stop acting.
Are
Let's stop acting like
are you?
Xbox making
Hold on,
games
hold on.
that they purchase
Is the
exclusive is
Switch
such a horrible thing.
is the
Are
Switch selling less because Call of Duty ain't been on the Switch in a long fuck. It ain't been on a Nintendo platform in a very long fucking time, and
This
they're
Dude,
not hurting about it.
this exclusivity thing is just like like people are just getting so like emotional about it, and I just don't get it because forever we've been saying, we go where the games are. If we want to play a certain game, we buy that platform, and we suck it up and we play on that platform. And we never have any question about exclusivity when PlayStation buys a studio, or they bought Destiny for what, $3 billion. And at some point, yes, Destiny is going to stay exclusive. But at some
no,
point, Destiny is going.
no,
Yes, they. I didn't say I said stay exclusive. It was
no. Destiny
slip.
is remaining
It's going to
multiplat.
stay. I meant to say stay multiplat. It's
Oh,
not
sorry.
exclusive at all. That's why I said I misspoke. That's why I said stay
No, it's
exclusive.
okay.
I
It's
meant to
right.
say stay multiplat.
Gotcha.
We know that it's going to stay multiplat, but at some point, Bungie is going to make an IP for Sony. I mean, Destiny might stay multiplat, but at some point they're gonna make an IP for Sony.
No, they already
It's
came.
gonna
They
be
already.
it's
No,
gonna
no.
it's
They
gonna be
already came.
exclusive to Sony,
No,
and it's gonna be on
they.
PC and Sony. It's gonna happen at
No,
some point.
no.
Like,
They already said The deal with
No, they only said Destiny is going to be
no,
multiplayer.
no.
That's what they said.
No,
That's what they said. They said
Bungie,
Destiny only. They said Destiny only. They said Destiny only.
Bungie came out and talked about it, and I believe either Herman Holt or Jim Ryan. They said Bungie is independent. They acquired Bungie for the what's called the game as a live service experience. That's it.
Yes.
Like, and they're gonna help them, and they're gonna help them.
Use that experience to do. They're going to use that experience to make live service games that are exclusive to the Sony platform.
Bungie is not.
No matter how you slice it, if it has the Bungie
Now you're
logo
changing the
on the
conversation,
splash screen or not,
but
they're gonna
Bungie
use
is
the
not
experience
though.
that Bungie has to make exclusive live service games for Sony at some point.
Bungie-
It's going to happen.
Yo, bro, what was the point of buying them if they weren't gonna make fucking exclusives, dude? What the fuck was the point of buying them?
I told you what, like, the acquisition of Bungie is so inconsequential for me, like, I so don't care about it, and I never...
It's not inconsequential for them. That's why they're
It's
making,
not.
like,
It's going to give them. It's going to give them legs. It's going to give them legs in the live service in the live service game market. That's exactly what that was for.
I literally said, for me. I literally said, for me. It's not for me. However, Bungie already came out and said Destiny is not going anywhere, and their new IP that they've been working on is also going to be multi-plat. So PlayStation is not taking anything away from what's called
Things
Bungie.
can change. Things can change.
They can't
We've also
change
discussed
because
that.
it's
Yes, they
literally in
can.
the
How are you going to say
contract.
they can't change? How are you going to say that?
No. All right, so I'm gonna say this: Bungie does what they want to do, and if Sony
Thank
tries
you.
to tell them,
Bungie is known for reneging on things.
Yeah.
They left a whole publisher after saying, "Hey, we'll work with you."
What I was gonna say is Sony tries to force their hands. They have experience in getting out of these acquisitions. We've seen it. We've seen them do it twice. So I mean, I'm not gonna say that Sony's gonna force Destiny to be PlayStation only, but they are gonna develop some exclusive content for Sony at some point. Like,
No,
yes,
because
yes,
Bungie came out
yes.
and said we're not doing anything of that ilk. No,
Okay, so what was the point
Viper,
of then they didn't have to
Bungie,
buy them. Then they didn't have to
Bungie,
buy them. They could continue to pay for marketing deals. They didn't have to buy them. Why'd they buy them?
At some point, they're gonna create
because
some exclusive
they
content for Sony. That's why Sony
because
purchased
they
them at
bought
the end of the
they
day.
bought them strictly for the fucking experience. That's it. What they bring
They bought
experience
them
wise.
they bought them for more than just experience. Okay, the Destiny
They could have
IP has
contracted them
value.
if they needed
They
help.
want to monetize it and do multiple things with the IP of Destiny, as well as use their experience to make more live service games that are going to be exclusive to the Sony platform, and they're going to also push those games to the PC market. That's just the reality of the deal. Like, I get that Destiny is going to stay on every platform, but even when Destiny 1 came out, there was content that was exclusive to the PlayStation, even though Destiny released
saw.
on
And there was
PlayStation
Call of
and
Duty,
Xbox.
We never saw it.
and
We
there
never
was
saw it. We never saw
and
it.
you're gonna-
We saw it in
and you're
Destiny
gonna
2.
see-
We never saw it in
and
D1.
you're gonna see some of those same things happen again, even if Destiny releases on Xbox. You're gonna see some level. They're gonna make it so that the best place to play Destiny is on the PlayStation.
they
That's just going
literally
to
they
happen at some
literally said,
point.
like, it's in the contract. They literally said we're not doing anything exclusive, no content, no anything. It's a normal business. They literally like.
That's a lie. That's a lie, bro.
It's
That's a
gonna-
lie.
Then
they're
we will
going to-
see if
They've already
that-
done it.
if-
They've already done it.
They're gonna provide Sony with some sort of exclusive content, even if it's just the Destiny expansion packs being free in the PlayStation Plus subscription service at the highest tier. Like they're gonna do something.
If they do that, I will come in and say they lied. Simple. As of right now, they have not done it.
Like you're not being realistic. Like they bought
I
them
am being.
for Destiny to help them make some exclusive live service content. That's why they.
We
That's
will
why they
see.
purchased them.
But yeah, Kofi, what's your take on this? Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with Pharaoh and Jube. I think both parties will eventually change their mind based on the development of the market after this gen. I think this gen is basically going to be the same thing that we've seen, and PlayStation is positioning themselves to prepare for Call of Duty being gone. Let's say that Call of Duty doesn't go exclusive for the next 15 years. That may be true, but at any point after this generation ends, Xbox could make that decision to
Yeah,
make
that's literally
something
what TMA
exclusive.
focused on, the next generation, and not
But I
this
think
generation. Yeah, continue.
But I think it's the same thing for Bungie. I think that I don't think Destiny will really ever be exclusive. I think that the talent there, yes, could make something exclusive. But the other thing, quote unquote, Sony overpaid, because I think Sony likes the idea of employees that work at Bungie moving between Sony first party studios. Let's say like, one of the best animation guys, Bungie, goes to Guerrilla and helps Guerrilla create
I
something
didn't
completely
think
new.
of that. I thought they're
Exactly.
gonna keep them
They
in
want this
check.
organism. Yeah, exactly. So they're like, now you're here, and now we paid, we got all this money and funding for you. People's salaries are going up. Nobody wants to quit, right? Because they could have bought it for chips or like tried to undercut them and feel like they got a deal, but then everybody leaves. Then they're like, oh, well, we got them, but like nobody good is here. So yeah, so then somebody trickles over to a studio that's, I feel like a studio like Sucker Punch recently came into a space where people appreciate them more. In this generation, I feel like other studios have a chance to do that graduation type step into the, the VGA type conversation. Competitors, not necessarily win. And employees at Bungie could go there and help boost that. Go ahead.
If Bungie, like let's say my PlayStation tried to force them to make the next IP exclusive, can Bungie say no, we're leaving?
But I think it's more complicated. I feel like, let's say, for example,
They've done it before.
there was like that creative team that started the Last of Us remake that wasn't Naughty Dog. I feel like things like that could happen within Bungie, where like a smaller subset of Bungie that's not being utilized, because it's a huge team, right? But when a new IP is being made, not everybody's working on it. People have to wait, almost like with Santa Monica Studio working on God of War, right? Where they took in all these people from another failed project, and people were sitting on the beach or not doing anything. I think smaller teams within Bungie are going to be like, we want to make something. Sony's like, cool, well, we own the IP. So what do you want to make? They're like, well, we're smaller, so I guess you can have the IP, but we won't make it. I think that's just bound to happen at some point.
If
You don't think so?
nailed on the head, Bungie is staying multiplayer due to the contract. And that also goes to the next game. And this is what I'm telling you. The contract.
We're not saying that. We're not saying that Bungie's not gonna stay multiplayer. We're saying that they're gonna help develop at some point some exclusive content for Sony. That's why they purchased them, because they wanted their expertise.
It just may not look like it's not going to be like Bungie's logo exclusive. It could be employees at Bungie working with another studio making it. So
That
it's
still
a little
counts.
bit muddier.
Yeah.
It still counts. It's still the value. It's still the value that they quote unquote overpaid for.
That's why they bought them. Like, yeah.
Okay. Zero?
I mean, yeah, sort of agree with what everyone else here. But clearly Bungie is going to make something for PlayStation. Like that's like a given. And as a Destiny player, I actually wouldn't be surprised if some exclusive specific content stays in Destiny on PlayStation side. It doesn't go to Xbox. Be it a gun, be it a strike, be it a shader, and like that's part of the conversation, right? Because it only matters when it's something that people care about. Because if I told you that a bunch of shaders are going to be exclusive to PlayStation, you wouldn't care. But if I told you there's a bunch of content exclusive to PlayStation, then, or a bunch of like strikes or missions or things like that, then the conversation sort of shifts. So it's like, but and Pharaoh's a sort of man of like being very straight about what the words are. The words are just content. It theoretically it shouldn't matter, right? Like be it a straight, just because you don't care about it does not mean it's not truthful, right? If they say all content will never not be exclusive and they put some shaders only on PlayStation, then effectively they've lied. But it's not that big of a deal, right? Like it's not the biggest thing in the world. And truth be told, I think that circles back to the Activision buyout. I was looking at all the studios. I understand functionally that like it is a publisher of what they bought, and that is a big deal, and that is something. But when it comes down to it, what they bought was the studio that made Call of Duty. There's Blizzard there, and so you got Overwatch, but most of Blizzard's stuff is PC focused anyway. So, and it won't exist well on Xbox anyway, so it's gonna go stay on PC where it belongs. So it is just Call of Duty. That's the only thing. Crash maybe, but anybody checking for Crash no more. Theoretically, they bought the studio that made Prototype, so Prototype 3 could be an Xbox exclusive. But of course, once again, if Prototype 3 became an Xbox exclusive under this Activision deal, I don't think people would be complaining. It only seems to matter about Call of Duty, which is the big dog in the house. And like I looked at all these studios that Activision had, most of them just make some variety of Call of Duty. Frankly, it's a little
It's not
sad.
Call of Duty only, really.
It is
No,
maturity
no,
Call
no.
of Duty.
There is also what's called what do you call it? WoW is just being WoW. It's only now came to platforms to consoles.
Blizzard, that stuff does not do well on consoles anyway.
Yeah, this
And
is
the
why
only
I'm
one
not
that
saying
matters
why.
would be
I'm not
Overwatch.
saying why. I'm talking about Call of Duty. I'm talking about Overwatch. I'm talking about what do you call
Overwatch
that?
is the only one that matters, unless you want
No,
to say Crash, which nobody's catching for Crash.
There is also another one. There is what do you call it? Diablo. I was about to bring it. Thank you.
Once again, mostly a primary PC game. Diablo's strength lies in the
doesn't
PC market,
matter.
not in the console. But it does matter.
No, it doesn't
It does.
matter because
But
it
how
does.
many Diablos are on PlayStation?
If
I
it doesn't
absolutely
sell
don't-
well, why do
One.
you care if it's on PlayStation or not?
Did you just ask how many Diablos are on PlayStation?
Yeah.
1, maybe 2. I
No,
forgot
it's
Diablo
between
2
2
just
or
got
3.
remastered.
And we're
It's
getting
it's,
4.
it's 2.
So yeah, games like that, but they are still taken away. So it's no longer about Call of Duty only.
But it really is just about Call of Duty because no one is bringing up Diablo or Overwatch.
They
No one's
are.
bringing up Overwatch anyway because Overwatch
They're
fell off
not.
a long time ago.
They
so that's
are.
PlayStation
because-
isn't even bringing up those other
because
games. They're only talking about Call of Duty.
Yes, even PlayStation's not bringing up because if that's the truth, then the only thing that matters is Diablo because Call of Duty. I mean, Overwatch has fallen off for a little bit. It remains to be seen what Overwatch 2 is going to do. That drops next month. We will see how valuable the Overwatch brand is in about a month or so. So that means you're only telling me, at least I understand it. And I've looked at these studios. Now, I could be wrong, and I have no problem with it. But if I'm pulling up, it's Sledgehammer, who makes Call of Duty. It's Raven Software, who makes Call of Duty. It's Radical Entertainment, who made Prototype back in 2012. So, sure, you got an argument if Prototype doesn't come out. Infinity Ward makes Call of Duty. What's this? High Moon Studios makes Call of Duty. Demonware, they make matchmaking, which probably leads to Call of Duty. Benox, which did Transformers Revenge of the Fallen back in 2009.
I
so
enjoyed
they
it.
haven't seen anything from them. Toys for Bob, who makes Call of Duty. And Treyarch, who makes Call of Duty. It's the Call of Duty buyout here. And then there's Blizzard, but Blizzard has always mostly been a PC studio.
Wow.
And
So,
But Activision owns a lot more IPs, though. All of these
but they're not doing anything with them.
That's what I mean. It's like
if Xbox decides to do something with those IPs that Activision was never gonna do anything with anyway, and they decide to make them exclusive, why do y'all care? Like y'all weren't getting those IPs before anyway, and you weren't gonna get them if Activision stayed just Activision.
I actually played prototype, so I would love a new prototype.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
the
so would
thing,
I.
you're
But
not getting a new,
been
you're not getting a new prototype as is.
yeah. You. I
Like
mean,
if you're getting the
it's been
series
10
as is,
years.
you're not getting a new prototype. That's what I'm saying. So if Xbox buys Activision and says we want you guys to make prototype 3, you guys don't have the right to complain about prototype 3 being an Xbox exclusive when it was never going to get made any like your whole argument for Project Eve being a PlayStation exclusive now is that PlayStation decided to fund it and the game was never going to come out if PlayStation wasn't going to fund it. So it's better that PlayStation funded it and we get the game and it's exclusive versus, hey, we don't get the game at all. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, they have all these IPs, but they're not getting like nothing is being done with these IPs. And the only way something is going to get done with these IPs is if they are actually acquired, and whoever acquires them wants to do something with those IPs.
And that was just my whole point. Like, I think outside of Blizzard, nothing within the past 5 years, except for Crash, because that is one, is not Call of Duty. Like, Prototype was 2012. That Transformers game was 2009. Like, I agree. Activision is sitting on at least a comfortable gold mine of IPs that they could probably utilize. The fact of the matter is, they just weren't. They weren't doing anything with them. Like, to the point that I didn't even realize that Prototype was under that umbrella. I'd completely forgotten who made that game.
I knew that
Um,
prototype is from Activision, but I don't know the studio.
yeah,
Because I
but
don't
once
follow
again,
the
like,
studio.
Jim Ryan's not worried about Prototype. He's like probably not. He shouldn't be worried about Crash anyway either, because like Astrobot can be better than Crash is. So like, the only thing anyone is realistically concerned about is Call of Duty. But I think once again that is that is the PlayStation 6's and Xbox Series 12 problem. When
Not
they have to deal
720?
with it. Oh, 720, yeah. Or just 1080 to make it like super hype. But, and there is Blizzard, I think we can keep an eye on. I don't know what's going to happen with Overwatch. Again, I think time will tell with that come next month.
It
But the
depends.
fact
It
that that game
depends
is
on 2. Because so far people are saying that 2 looks like 1. And
2 is
they're
just
all calling it
1.5.
DLC. Yeah,
It
2.5.
is just DLC, and
1.5. Yeah, precisely.
it's free to play. And so arguably there's no reason to make a free to play game exclusive anyway.
And I just want to highlight one particular thing. Like, we want to highlight that Xbox is buying publishers, but after Xbox bought Bethesda, PlayStation was very shrewd and they acquired studios, and it's basically to the point where Xbox and PlayStation have the same amount of studios at this juncture. And PlayStation probably did it and saved a couple $1 billion. So I mean, they did it in a more economical way, and they caught up to Xbox as far as studios. So I mean, like the only difference is that Xbox is buying, you know, they're buying it as a whole set as opposed to making individual purchases here and there. Like, but they're doing the same thing but differently. Like PlayStation is just doing it in a little bit more cost-effective manner.
We're
And
not
that,
comparing
that's the
a publisher
I mean,
to
you're
a
right. We're
studio.
not. You
No.
shouldn't. I think it's I think it's very prudent to be clear that there is a purchase of a publisher versus a studio. However, I don't disagree with Pharaoh on the sense that, like, once again, if Xbox, I guarantee, because nobody wants to spend $70 billion. If they could figure out a way to just buy Call of Duty, they would, because effectively that's what they did. They just. I mean, there's some other stuff there. I'm not going to discount Blizzard, but for the sake of this argument, who they bought was Call of Duty. They bought all these random studios that do nothing but make Call of Duty. It's not the best way to go about it. I'm sure they didn't want to spend $70 billion if they could have just bought Call of Duty outright and let Activision do whatever the hell they wanted to do. But they bought the whole fucking house instead. But like, that house is built on Call of Duty, nothing else. Like, I just think we need to be realistic about what they purchased. They bought Call of Duty. We all know
they
this.
approached Xbox, right? Wasn't it that they wanted?
And yes, and Activision came to Xbox, yeah. But like, there is no world in where Xbox was like, that Prototype IP, we've been waiting on that for a while. Like, no. We want Call of Duty. That's the only thing we want. If If they probably could get away with it, they'd have dropped Blizzard off too. Like, we don't really need
I
them
think
either.
I think really what they, I mean, Call of Duty is big, but I think what actually like incentivized this purchase to go through is they wanted Toys for Bob, they wanted King, and then I had a brain fart. But I think they want to get back into. I think they want to build up their kid collection of games. They
What
want
is
to
that?
expand the Game
So,
Pass library.
what is Tongue for Woman King?
Toys for Bob.
The
Yeah,
studio that made
what?
Call of, they made Warzone and Crash.
So
They made the
basically
Crash
Call
game.
of Duty.
Before they got stuck making Call of Duty, they made a lot of games that were more geared towards kids. I think they want to get Toys for Bob back to doing that, and
I mean,
because they need more kids games on Game Pass because they want like if you get if you get 5 to 10 year old kids sucked into Game Pass, you then gain the customer for the next 50 years. Like, just is what
They
it
have
is. Like,
they have Shinji Mikami.
does he make kids games?
He can. He can do
But does
anything.
he? But does he? What kid game has he made, and how long ago was that? He specializes in horror. Last time I checked.
yeah, potential Mikado. God
Yeah,
Hand,
yeah.
maybe?
The God Hand would be the closest, I think.
Yeah,
That
maybe God
one was
Hand?
like-
That's him.
Oh, no.
Are you talking
wait.
about small kids? Like they for that they have Minecraft. They literally made Minecraft what's called.
But you need more. You need more to like you want engagement. Like that's why they want WB because they wanted the Lego series on in Game Pass. That's why they tried to buy WB at one point. They want to have children locked into Game Pass because that's the next generation of customers. And
Which
parents
personally,
ain't gonna let their
I think with this Activision deal, some of those kids are going to be quite disappointed. Once again, I'm thoroughly convinced what they bought was Call of Duty, and what their focus is going to be is Call of Duty. And
I don't think they're going to be disappointed because as soon as that acquisition goes through, the whole damn Crash collection is hitting Game Pass.
no one's checking for Crash. All right, I'm not going to get on my soapbox about Crash Bandicoot, but it's fine. It's fine.
What? Crash is
It's fine.
amazing, don't you?
It's fine.
Crash is amazing, don't you dare.
I'm not going to say Spyro is the best game ever, but my kids, the games that they like are not the best games ever.
Crash is amazing. And
Crash is a game. Astrobot is better.
We're not comparing Astrobot to Crash. Crash have
But they're
legacy. Astrobot is different.
So I'm saying you get Crash and Spyro on there. You know, my kids like dragons right now. If Spyro makes it into Game Pass and I show them a dragon, they're gonna play Spyro, even though whether Spyro is good or bad.
You let them watch House of Dragons and call it a day.
You know, we could just skip all the incest and everything and just cut up the dragon scenes and they just watch that.
So
You know, we could do that. We could do that.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Shinji, fucking Kofi. Can you break it down?
yeah, let me go ahead and read the article. I wish I found the actual YouTube conversation. That's what I was looking for this whole time.
I can't help you with that one, sorry.
Yeah, I've never seen the Biohazard channel that June uses in the latest post from it, but hold on, I'm going to pull up the article and read it so that people have
Some context.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Opening the article right now. Okay, so the title is Shinji Mikami says he wants to, quote, make his own game, unquote, and change development culture. Shinji Mikami, best known for directing Resident Evil, producing Resident Evil 2 and 3, and writing and directing Resident Evil 4, then founded Tango Gameworks in 2010, where he directed Evil Within. Since then, however, Mikami has taken more of a supervisory role as executive producer of both Evil Within 2 and Ghostwire Tokyo. In a new chat with Jun Takeuchi on the official Biohazard channel, Mikami said he has two inspirations to make, quote, sustainably developed games, unquote, that change development culture, and to make another game of his own. Quote, this is something I haven't really been able to do yet, unquote, Mikami said. Quote, I want to make a new sort of game for the younger generation of developers with sustainable development practices. What's it called? A sustainable development goals game. And this is background context. The sustainable development goals are a 17 global goals created by the United Nations in 2015 as a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet. Unquote. Goal 8, which is what Mikami is likely referring to, aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full of productive
1
and
second,
fulfilling
FC.
for
I
all.
just want to clarify. Kofi. FC. No, Shinji never left. But
He's still
He
at
didn't.
Tango.
yeah, he's
Yeah, he's
still
still
in
a tank.
Tango.
Yeah, he's
But
still at
he
Tango, bro. He never left.
Yeah, he
he
never
is
left.
not working on anything for 2 years apparently. Continue, FC.
So,
Kofi.
okay, so quote again. He says, "I want to make sustainably developed games." So when he's talking about that, this is me talking, not the article. He is referring to some sort of initiative that was created by several countries. But Jun Takeuchi, who again also worked on the Resident Evil games, is interviewing him. So I'm gonna skip to what he asks Mikami to add more clarification. So to clarify this, there is something important here. I want to create. Hold on. Because I saw something here that was controversial. Where is it? Okay. So clarifying Mikami's statement, Takeuchi asks. So one of the steps you want to make is to make your own game, and creating a game with sustainable development goals. Again, which is like keeping people employed, keeping companies not closing over long periods of time. Well, Mikami replied, first of all, at the start, it's about doing whatever I want, not whatever I want. But
Huh?
properly making some.
No, wait.
I know. That's confusing. So hold on. Let me
Repeat
finish the
that?
statement.
Okay,
Let me
sorry.
finish this. Well, I'll start again. It is a statement that's better read than stated. He says, "Well," Mikami replies, "First of all, at the start, it's about making whatever I want, not whatever I want." And the second whatever is in quotes. He's insinuating that leadership and publishers have control over what's greenlit. That's where he's kind of going. But let me
So
finish.
basically, Microsoft is not
Hold
giving
on.
him the free reign to do whatever it please.
Let me finish though.
No.
But properly making something that I want and working on the ground with younger people, giving the younger generation opportunities. There's more. Even if it's a small game, if they have time on their hands, they can test different things out. At least that's my attitude. We haven't properly made the game I want yet. And once we've done that, well, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. If I can make it happen, I want to make it happen. I want to make something. So Takeuchi asks, you want to do at least I'm sorry guys. Do you want to make at least once make a game that's personal to you? And Mikami says, I guess. Sorry, the translation is rough here because that's why I want to hear him say this
You
in
wanna
Japanese.
hear
There
him,
might
yeah.
be other nuances that I could catch, but I just haven't gotten to the video. But if anybody has any questions, I can go back on the quotes, and if anybody wants to have their take.
So so the word is going around that he's not been working on something he wants for 2 years now. And any clarification about that?
I can also give more context on an article 2 years ago, December 2020, where he expressed wanting to make more projects before he retires. So it's always, and this is when he was deep in development for Ghostwire Tokyo. So to me, him saying that in 2020 before Ghostwire Tokyo comes out says he might like this game, but he is less hands-on. And I remember, I'm sure all of us have seen the interview that Mikami does for Ghostwire Tokyo that came out, I think, earlier this year. He was he was a fan. You know what I mean? He was like, so I'm not going to talk about the game. The director is. I'm just here overseeing and making sure that the game is good. and he makes it sound like he wants to get his hands dirty again.
It almost sounds like he's
But
unhappy with his current position, and he wants.
I think
Yep.
I don't know what came first, right? Like, did Sony approach them and be like, "Hey, we want this exclusive," and then Microsoft scooped up the parent company, and things got shifted around a little bit. But
Yeah, that's
my
what
guess is the
happened.
reason he's there is the money is probably very good.
That's what happened. Because when what's called what do you call it? Bethesda, when the studio at Bethesda, not Tango, the other one, Arcane, they won Game of the Year for something. I forgot what they won, but they won something with Deathloop. They came out and they said, "Thank you for Sony for believing in our vision." So it was Sony that approached them with what's called with both. So Sony approached Bethesda with both Ghostwire Tokyo, and they approached with Deathloop.
Yeah, so
approach them.
So I'm curious what you're gonna do now, but this doesn't sound like what you had hoped, Kofi. I told you they're not gonna do anything with them.
I mean, I think we all want the same thing for Shinji because of games like God Hand and Vanquish.
I
being
do, because
so
if
iconic.
imagine if you give like this is Microsoft we're talking about, and you remember, so guys, you do realize Microsoft want to penetrate the Japanese market while having the original either creator or director for Resident Evil, and he can make a God Hand, and he can make whatever, and instead he is like this, like
So
now.
to your point,
So, all right, so based on what was read, what was said that insinuates that he's not being allowed to make a game?
was that a question for you?
Nothing was said. Nothing was said.
It's a general. It's just a question. I mean, because Omar's pushing this narrative that he's not being allowed to do so, and I'm saying based on the interview, what did he say that alludes
Would he
to
not say?
him not being allowed?
Would he not then say, "I am working on something"? This is literally been 2 years now.
Well, maybe there's a time and place to announce certain things, right?
No, he
So,
can tell, "I am working on a project" without giving any
and
clarification.
typically, those announcements take place on a stage, not on an interview with a local reporter.
Okay, if that's what you
You
believe.
might be, and that's another good point that Pharaoh brings up. Like, I wish I had a little more context because based on how he expresses himself, you could try to read between the lines and say, "Oh, this guy hasn't been approached for his own IP yet. Maybe
Right.
we're still." Because here's the part of the issue, and I think Pharaoh, maybe you were talking about this and I missed it, or on a different podcast episode. The announcement of Ghostwire Tokyo at the Xbox Japanese, Game Pass thing, it did not land well with fans in Japan. Like, they're not like, "Oh man, like, yo, like, this is it. Like, I can't believe it. It's coming to Xbox. I'm so hyped." That wasn't
Xbox can't talk about Ghostwire yet. They haven't said anything about Ghostwire. They can't talk about.
Oh no, it was Deathloop. I'm sorry, that was Deathloop. My bad.
Yeah. They
Yep,
can't talk
and-
about Ghostwire yet.
Why are they not
Yep.
happy with Deathloop on Xbox? I'm confused.
No, I'm
Who's
sorry.
not happy?
We'll come back. We'll come back to that because that was me making a mistake. But the sales and the social reaction to Ghostwire Tokyo was not stellar in Japan, even on PlayStation, right? Where PlayStation has obviously sold better. So there is a opportunity here where horror is beloved in Japan, right? A Resident Evil game, Days Gone sold pretty great in Japan, sold better than God of War in Japan. So the idea of having horror, I think, is a great landing spot for Xbox, if that's what Shinji wants. I mean, he did.
Yeah,
do
exactly
Evil
what
Within,
Shinji wants.
based
If
off of that.
Shinji,
It's a great opportunity, even if it's a smaller game. What I think the point Omar's trying to make is, you were hoping that there was some conversation that would make Mikami more excited. Like, man, I can't do anything right now, but we are excited, or something.
No.
And
I
for
was
him, it comes
actually
off.
no. I was actually hoping for you, because you had hopes that you would read an
Oh,
interview
that's
where
right.
he's saying,
I
I
forgot.
am working on something mind blowing. I can't
Okay.
wait for you guys. I told you, they're not gonna do
Okay.
anything with them.
Okay, he's right. So to give context again to Juve and Zero and Pharaoh, um, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I was being the optimist. I was saying, look, Congo GameWorks being there means that there is something great coming. So Omar's making the point to me more that still hasn't happened this far into the generation. I mean, Pharaoh's right, right? The deal
And
has not closed.
I told you it's not gonna happen because they're not
The
gonna
deal is closed.
see
The deal
anything
is
with them.
closed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
So it's the
we don't
waiting.
we
That's
just
the.
yeah, we just don't know it. Like if Tango
We
is
do.
working on no, we don't, because if Tango is working on a new game, it takes 5 years to develop a game. Right?
But it can
Yeah,
at least say,
yes,
I'm working on something.
but typically
To hype up their
those
fan base. To hype up their
there's nothing
fan.
that they don't do that. That's not what Xbox does. They announce stuff on a stage,
I,
right?
I think what might be important here, from what I understand, because I found an article that I could read as well. I think we're missing the point here. This article really wasn't about Shinji Mikami wanting to make a new game at all. Shinji Mikami wants to change game development culture. There's like
Yes.
10 paragraphs here focusing on video game culture, and about a paragraph and a half saying, also, I'd like to make another game. The also make another game isn't the focus of this article. It is secondary to his main point, is that it
But how you
seems as though
gonna change their game culture by literally making your own game? That's what he wants.
he
Because if he makes a game and it's successful, then he's like, hey, this proof of concept works. Making a game this way works. Like that's the
listen
whole
to
point.
Yes, so
there
in
it is,
order to do
Jube.
so, he needs to make a game. That's what
But
we're getting at.
but I think you're still missing the point here. He's saying he wants to make sustainably developed games. The most
Yeah,
important thing is probably acceptance of game development culture. You change the process based on results. You get good results, you adopt a system, but changing the culture is more difficult. His whole focus, he seems to be a little disappointed with game development culture as a whole.
yeah, it
And
seems.
what he wants to do is work with younger generations to get that done. And as he said, he's still figuring that out. Like he doesn't have any concrete answers on how to get it done. He's trying to figure that out. I think that's where the I can do whatever but not like whatever line comes from, because he's still trying to understand how to make that work within a system that doesn't want it to work. Neither Xbox
Yeah,
nor Sony nor Nintendo cares to really change that process, and neither do the people who buy video games either. Whenever
So
crunch
then,
comes up,
look.
we
the,
don't care.
so then the
See,
question is, what?
here's the point that I was trying to get to, and I thank Reggie for bringing more context to light. Is that we're taking an article that's and you have your own narrative in mind going into and you're supporting your narrative with his statements, even though he's not. That's not what he's saying. You're using his words to kind of prop up your argument when he's not saying I'm not being allowed to make a game or anything like that.
I never
That's
said
I was
he is
like,
not allowed.
that's why I was like, where are you getting this? Where are you drawing these conclusions from? I was getting confused.
I'm drawing this confusion from I literally thought what's called Kofi was optimistic. He said it. He was expecting Microsoft to do something with Tango games. I told Kofi, don't get your hope up. They're not gonna be able to do so. Yeah.
If Tango was going to make when did Tokyo Ghostwire come out?
It's here.
It was just it's last year.
Right?
This year.
No, this year.
Last year.
April.
It came out this year.
This year.
Oh,
Okay.
April.
It came out in April, right?
So we're not going to
Yeah.
get it on Xbox till
So-
2023.
No, but all right. So let's be realistic. They released the game in April. All right. So typically, when you release a game in today's era, about a year from now, some new content will drop along with that game. That's pretty safe to say. Safe to assume, right? We just saw it
They
with
never said they're releasing.
okay, we know how games work. We seen Ghost of Tsushima a year later, new content. We seen Horizon a year later, new content. We seen Deathloop a year later, new content. Typically,
No, hold
a
up.
year later,
Horizon
new content.
got new content 2 years after. What happened with Ghost of Tsushima and what's the name? Returnal.
The point typically is once the game releases, there's still typically continuing development going on for that game. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
Sometimes it depends.
All right, but usually, I mean, we just saw it with Deathloop, so we can assume that the same thing is going on with Tokyo Ghostwire. Unless Tokyo Ghostwire is a complete flop, there's probably some continuing development, and there's probably going to be some sort of expansion pack coming out in a year.
But would he not say?
It'll most likely release with an expansion pack, right?
Would he not say then I'm currently busy with Ghostwire Tokyo?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do that. You would announce it at the proper time. Just like the people at Deathloop didn't say that they were working on extra content for Deathloop until it was time to announce it. They announce it when it's most marketable for them to do so. So if we're being realistic, all right, Tokyo Ghostwire will be done, fully developed or whatever, sometime around April of next year. All right, which means that after that point in time, there's probably going to be a 6 to 12 month window where Tango Gameworks is figuring out what new IP they want to work on. What are the parameters of it? Storyboarding, all that other stuff. And you're probably not going to see another game from Tango Gameworks
until 2024.
2025, 2026
Yep.
at the earliest at an E3 show. Like
they just had a game came out. You're right.
At the earliest, anything that you see from Tango Gameworks is probably going to be around 2026. And like that's what I'm saying. Like it's a weird argument that you're saying he's not being allowed to. Like if you're being realistic about the development cycle of video games, that it's too early for him to be working on a new game. Realistically, if you're being realistic. Like, even Last of Us got new content with factions a year later. Last of Us 2 didn't, but, I mean, typically when you release a game a year or two later, like, there's ongoing development post-release.
So I was just thinking about what's called releasing game. I was just thinking about post-release content. Good point.
I mean, we gotta be a little bit more realistic here. Like, we all...
Hey, I didn't think about what's called new content.
You know, we know how this thing works. Like we play enough games. We talk about the industry every week. We see how this thing goes.
Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, Copy.
No, I was going to say I will be finding the official posting on the official whatever Capcom channel.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That conversation.
You speak Japanese, you can handle it. Anyone else wanna speak on this matter?
I hope he was able to get his development.
I hope, because he sounds almost like Kojima. How Kojima wanted to make a game that is far out there, and he did. So let's hope Shinji Mikami does the same.
Right.
And
he will. I mean,
they're gonna start developing new games probably 2024.
Yeah, they gotta support this game until it drops on Xbox, and then they can go do something else.
Okay. The next topic is going to be anyone very quick, because I'm very disappointed with this one, and I'm not even a player of this game. It's just how they say. So anyone here is a Call of Duty fan?
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I stopped playing it a long time ago.
I play. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fan because
Did you play the latest beta?
I did, and I uninstalled that shit. And that's okay.
Okay, so
Modern Warfare 2 is bad. They usually don't fuck Modern Warfare.
But the Modern Warfare 2 beta is garbage. It's garbage.
So
and I'm
one, it
not
was
gonna cap.
riddled.
It's garbage.
One, it was riddled with cheaters, like full
Yeah,
blown.
already. I'm only
Yeah.
buying Modern
Oh
Warfare 2
yeah,
to
yeah,
play
yeah.
the damn. I want to
Oh
play the
yeah,
new
yeah, yeah.
campaign. And
It's
that's the only reason why I'm buying.
already.
I'm not buying it to play multiplayer.
Yeah, it's
You're
already
not
full.
you're not buying Modern Warfare 2. You're gonna wait for it to hit Game Pass in 6 months.
No,
So
I pre-ordered it. I
so
pre-ordered the
that
Vault
one.
edition. I did. I did.
Number two, they made some changes, and their fan base are unhappy with it. Not only that, they gave them feedback, and they came out and said, "Yeah, suck to suck. We're just gonna cater to the casual." And
Got him.
it blows my mind that they would rather focus on the casuals than the actual hardcore that are playing their game day in day out.
Mm.
Like,
They seem a little too big to fail
that's
sometimes.
crazy, dude. Like, they alienated fan base that been playing their games on the 360 era during the 360 days, and they're gone. Like, a few people I know that I follow on Twitter, they already what's called ask for refund for the game.
Yeah,
Well, I
and I
mean,
think
let them do that.
I think part of it is unfortunately they found themselves in a bit of a Fortnite situation where like I don't think they expected Warzone to take off as well as it did, but very clearly Warzone is the favorite child here. All other Call of Duties are like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Warzone, like, let's pay attention to him. That's the golden boy.
I got you, but at least they, focus on the hardcore, because, the hardcore are the ones that are playing your game day in, day out. They
But
are the
are the
ones
hardcore the
grinding.
people that got you to $1 billion industry? And that's part of the question because the casuals didn't just jump on the Call of Duty. So
Precisely.
like,
And
if
they're
you're
gonna play a
just
few matches and they're gonna call it a day. But the hardcore are the ones that playing it every single day. Not that exaggeration. Just an example. Every single day. They are the
You
ones that putting hours upon hours upon hours in your game. And you're gonna
you know what
alienate
casuals do?
them?
Casuals spend money to be on par with hardcores.
They
They
do.
spend real money. You we
Real money.
hardcore spend time. Casuals spend money.
Yep.
and I
That's
get
the
Dude.
that.
main difference.
I
I
know it
know.
has to be an odd balance because I mean they play like Battle Pass or they'll pay for something that looks interesting and like it does kind of suck because like you do sort of get left behind.
If
Uh,
you're gonna grind Call of Duty for 3,000 hours a year, you don't need to pay to get ahead. You're
this
gonna
is
You
true,
play
don't.
it enough.
and
Like,
I
yeah, so I
think
mean, like,
some of it is the content you offer because you can get hardcore people to buy stuff. I think Fortnite is like a great example of that. Of folks like you
I
get
think you
that
can
new.
get them to buy like the early stuff, like when the game first launches, like to kind of get that head start. But
Nah.
Just if it's interesting, like for example, Call of Duty dropped the Attack on Titan skins, which like would have gotten hardcore people into it. Just the skins suck.
Yep.
But like
But
I think it's just little stuff like that.
that's weird. Call of Duty, Attack on Titan doesn't even fit with Call of Duty like that.
it doesn't have to fit. It just has to be fucking cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they put John McClane and fucking Rambo in there. I'm like,
yeah.
Like,
that's
it
cool.
don't gotta
Running around
like
barefoot
like
and
at some
shit.
point like stuff like Goku doesn't fit in Fortnite necessarily.
He
But you know
doesn't.
what?
He
It's
doesn't.
cool.
But I bought him.
But it's
I paid money.
yeah,
I
it's
got
cool
him.
to see him force choked by Darth Vader.
They do a good job advertising it. It looked like it fit.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He just flying around.
I mean, and sometimes they put like it's why Fortnite still stands as the shining example because like they did seem to put more care than you would think Fortnite would into like these character designs. Because even Naruto they look good. Like they look
Because
out
they
of place,
understand
but they look well.
they understand that all that matters is the cool factor. If you make it look cool and you make it worth buying, people are gonna buy it. Like it doesn't have to
Yep.
necessarily fit within the game. Like you might only play with that character for 20 minutes, but you played with them
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
for a
And
couple days.
it's
It
an
was
odd
enough
thing,
to.
right? Because Fortnite's a great example of I guess catering to casuals when they drop. Well, I think the mode's still there, but I think the more popular mode of Fortnite now is no building.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was literally about to get into that. Like
Yeah,
hardcore gamers now are playing noble, what's called the no building yet because they just want to go in there and shoot people. That's it.
yeah.
Yep.
But to be fair, getting good at Fortnite was building.
Oh yeah,
Like that was part and parcel with it. Like, and the hardcore community did that. Like that's how Ninja became who he was because he was good at that. But like that, I guess nobody really liked it. I guess that's perhaps why it was easier to do than what
But you
Call of
know
Duty's
what?
trying
Like,
to
as
do.
far as like actual like, you know, old warfare, like part of old warfare is like building trenches and things like that so that you can't get shot. Like that's kind of
These
it's kind of like
yeah,
these
it's
aren't
but
these aren't
Fortnite,
trenches, Pharaoh. These are
but I'm
giant
just saying,
buildings
I'm
that
saying,
stretch into the
Fortnite,
sky at a
Fortnite is
moment's
saying,
so
notice.
trippy.
I'm just
Yo,
saying it's realistic in a non-realistic way. Like you do when you're in actual battle, you do actually create vantage points for yourself. You know,
Mm, mm,
you know, build reinforcements and things like that so that you can be safe and
mm,
still kill people while doing
mm.
it.
All you're gonna do is
Yep.
Kamehameha it right out of your building, like everybody
Right out
else.
your building. Right out the whip, bro. Right
Yeah.
out the car. Like,
So I mean, shit, World War II, all I did was dig trenches.
So I mean, it sucks for uh Call of Duty. I haven't played in a long time. I still don't think they ever got better than the first Modern Warfare. That was just a
no, nah. MW2 was bigger for me, bro.
wasn't.
MW2 was like that.
so
It was
I
like
did
that.
play it, but like I think it was just because Modern Warfare was the first game to pull me off of Halo. I was like, oh, this is
You
something.
right. You right.
This is
You
something to
right.
play.
I I
Yeah,
played
no, that,
Modern Warfare 2 more than I played Halo 3, to be
That makes
honest.
sense.
That
That makes
was
sense.
a legit thing. But I was on Halo for a long time.
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna bring up a topic I had on Game Player. I'm curious about you guys' opinion. Kofi, you can sit this one out or you can elaborate. Oh no, you can elaborate because Game Player audience is not, Vitamin D audience is not on Game Player. Um, thank you, Dragon. Um, JRPG, give me 1 second.
Did did you leave us? Or not?
yes, he stepped away.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
okay.
No, sorry, I
Oh,
muted
so what were
myself.
we?
I muted
Uh,
myself because I was finishing my carrot. I ate carrot and I didn't want to crunch.
Man was eating a carrot.
Yeah, a carrot,
Yeah,
yeah.
I respect it.
this is the oddest radio show of all time.
He- He's eating the
so,
vegetable version of a glizzy.
so what I wanted to say, JRPG turn-based versus JRPG action. Which would you
Out here
prefer
glizzy gobbling.
and why? For example, um, like let's say Valkyrie Profile, Valkyrie Elysium. Would you rather have the next installment would have been turn-based or um, action-based? And yes, Dragon, I'm eating a carrot. Is that an issue? It's a baby carrot, mind you. I'm gonna go
Baby
to
glizzies.
you, Jubei. What's your thought? While you give me your thought, I'm gonna feed my kitten. Be right back. But I'm listening.
Okay. So, just so I get the base of your question, run it by me one more
Versus
time.
action RPG, basically.
Like,
Like the
RPG
combat
versus
style.
action RPG?
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
the combat style, turn-based or
So
action.
basically turn-based.
if
Yeah,
it
for
was,
example, would you
if
rather
it
play...
was, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
it doesn't really matter. It's because it's deeper than just the baseline combat system. There's some turn-based combat systems that work out really well. It really just depends. Um, I enjoy both, so I don't really care. Like I feel it also depends on the game. Like I feel like Final Fantasy X would be a really weird game if it was an action RPG. It wouldn't. I don't think it would have been as fun in that case. Um, but no, I don't think I'd really be bothered by it either way. Like I wasn't really bothered by it when Final Fantasy VII Remake was more Kingdom Hearts-ish than, OG Final Fantasy VII. Like, it just doesn't really bother me too much. The rest of the game and the system overall just has to be well done. If it's trash, then it's trash. It doesn't matter.
Interesting. So, if you had to choose action or JRPG or turn-based, what would you choose and why?
Um, if I just had to choose one though, then I'll take turn-based just because
Okay,
you can think more.
gotcha.
Just.
Zero.
But
What
the
about?
system just has to
Yeah,
be good. That's it.
yeah, I got you. Of course, it had to be good. It's just me and Nate, and we had an entire. So it was me and Nate, Kofi, J-Body, and Persona, and Weeb, and Viper Reap. We had an entire conversation for almost 2 hours just about action versus turn based. Very entertaining. I recommend it to listen to. Zero, what you take?
Um, I think part of me leans a bit more towards you, but I don't have a natural preference. What my favorite JRPG of all time, I guess, is technically action slash turn based.
Which is?
It's a bit of Star Ocean 2.
Oh,
It's a little bit of half because like
did you play
I'm
the
not
Star Ocean
just sitting
demo
there.
then?
Star Ocean what?
Did you play the Star Ocean demo?
Oh no, I stopped. As far as I'm concerned, no Star Ocean has ever been better than Star Ocean 2. I just
Um,
wish they would go back to. I would
Oh, the
play,
facts. The
yeah.
play,
facts.
play three. Three is great.
Three. Did I like three? Three's on what?
Three
What is
has some like
2?
3 is till
Three
the
has
end
two.
of time.
Till the end of time. Till the end of
But
time. Yeah.
it has some great potential moments. Like some of the arts at the end of the game are just awesome. Like Dimension Door, where Fate like hits the whole room with dark energy and then teleports with a big slash. It was some of the coolest skills I've ever seen. But some of the plot points in the story made me so mad. So it's like a weird balance. My favorite's actually Star Ocean 1, First Departure.
Fair.
Oh.
But that's
First
also
Departure's
because I
fine,
haven't
yeah.
played. I haven't really played the second one. I know Reggie beats me up about that.
Anyone
Greatest of
played
all
Last
time.
Hope?
That's no.
Anyone played
Last
what?
Hope is the one I hate. That's Star
I
Ocean.
don't. I do not like Last Hope. I broke that disc. Fuck that game.
But I don't
The
think I like
dungeons
Star
are-
Ocean 3 either. Yeah, because that came out on PS3. It came out.
No, oh, it did. Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
that's 2.
I mean, it's
I
a
love-
PS2 game, but I think it was no. What it was never.
I
on
think
PS3.
it was two.
Oh
It
no,
was
never
two.
did it. Then I'm thinking of Last Hope then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Last Hope. Yeah, I mean, that's always been sort of my favorite battle system, where I'm just running around and then just smashing buttons over and over and over and over again. Which I guess the modern version of that is sort of what Final Fantasy VII Remake did. Like, I can sort of move around them freely. They just tightened it up a bit. So that would probably be like my ideal. I would prefer turn. I like turn based. I just need my turn based to actually do something. And what I
What do
mean
you
by
mean?
that is like,
Oh, you mean while combating, you want to press a button to do extra damage or something like that, right?
no. That's like Final Fantasy VIII, which actually I always hated that with the GF system. Pushing those
You
buttons.
hated the R1 joint to get that
Oh,
extra little bullet
Bro,
crit.
I brought one of those controllers where you can hit the speed buttons and it would just turn on the turbo button every time I had to do that. No, like in Final Fantasy VII, the original, or at most Final Fantasies, you're just standing there. Like Cloud is just bouncing up and down, waiting for that little bar
Oh,
to go up.
you want
and
to
then
move
you
to
hit.
different areas.
I just wanted to do something. So, for example, Yakuza, like a dragon, they don't do much of anything, but they kind of walk around. They like circle.
Like Wild
It's-
Arms 5. I mean, Wild
Okay,
Arms
but
3.
if when they walk around, can they miss an hit?
You can miss a hit, yes. For you,
And that walk around, is that what's called controlled or
no, for Yakuza it's automatic.
Oh.
So like what will happen is you can their little clever mechanic is, say for example, there are two people in like two people one in front of the other. If I go try to hit the guy in the back, chances are the guy in the front, as I'm running past him, will kick me and interrupt my action. So I want stuff like that to happen. That's the sort of only turn-based I tend to like anymore. Because otherwise it becomes like static. Now again, like Jube said, it doesn't really matter that much because I still just like playing. As long as the story's good, I'll tough it out. Like Live Alive is like that, but that's more of a strategy. Yeah, but you have
Wait,
to like do something.
Live is not fun for you?
No, well, it's not. It's different. It's closer to a strategy game though. So I guess in that sense, I put it closer to like a very easy version of Final Fantasy Tactics. Because everything is grid based.
So you never knew what you were getting into with Live Alive, because I'm dying to play that game. My friend is selling me his Switch, and yeah, I'm waiting on that front
I
to
mean, I
play
still
Live
highly
Alive.
recommend it. Like, I would give anything for them to make a HD 2D remake of Star Ocean 2. I'd pay any amount of money for it.
I am watching gameplay of Star Ocean 2. I don't recall playing 2. I recall playing 3, Last Hope, but that's about it. Yeah, no, I don't remember Cloud or
Oh, it's
whatever
my
his name.
man, Claude and Diaz. What?
I never played 2. I missed out
It's
on
so
it.
great. And Ashton and his twin dragons.
I am here. I'm getting gameplay right now. Oh shit, he missed out. He skipped on the fucking combat. I want to see the combat.
So it's always like that, like Legend of Legaia, which is a turn-based game, but it's like unique in that I'm choosing kick, punch, low kick, punch, high kick, punch, to make them even.
To discover different combinations.
Yeah, even that. And I've gone on record a lot saying I don't like Xenogears, but like even that was like clever in how it was like doing its moveset and everything. Like I don't like, and I guess it is the Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest standard of just like you stand here, you let the bar run up, you hit the button, rinse and repeat for the rest of the game. Like you've got to make it more interesting to me than that. Valkyrie Profile was like I don't think I've ever played anything like Valkyrie Profile since then.
And there are a few, like
Well,
there are a few games I remember playing where you need to press a button to, or you can need to put an input. Like yeah, I understand you.
Yeah,
Reggie, did you ever play Exist Archive?
that sounds familiar.
It's
Exist?
Tri-Ace developed, and it's for Vita and PS4. It's basically Valkyrie Profile, but with just a whole new story world. Like they just basically took their combat and they just put in a whole new world with like these young characters that you run around, side scroll kind of.
I like the way
Coffee,
it looks.
are you okay? You sound almost sickish.
Oh, it's because I'm you're eating carrots. I'm drinking seltzer water.
Oh my god.
Sorry?
Y'all both choking. You choking on bubbles, he choking on carrots.
It's on PS4.
Yeah, it's on PS4. Yeah,
Oh, maybe I'll
it's
try
actually
it
on
out.
PlayStation Plus, I think. No. It was on Now, I think. PS Now, so it's now grandfathered into PlayStation Plus somehow. I think.
Oh, I wonder if it's on now.
Exist
I'll check it
Archive,
out.
yeah. Try Ace's little gem. Yeah, I wanted to have a take because I never really, at least as of late, I really don't have a preference at all personally. But then I try to get practical and I make a list in my head of my top favorite RPGs. I rarely have real-time RPGs in my favorites. Final Fantasy VIII's an exception. Final Fantasy VII's an exception. Maybe Tales of Rebirth. Tales of Arise is fantastic. I think the issue I have with a lot of real-time combat is there's a lot of slight nuances that I like to try to take advantage of, and I get more out of that. So, like for example, Shin Megami Tensei 3, I beat that last year. That game, to me, it very much can be a quote-unquote Dark Souls of JRPGs, even though it was long before the Souls we know of today. There's just 1,000 ways for you to get killed. Like you can just get like reflect damage on you, you're dead, and you go right back. And so but I like the preparation and the turn-to-turn strategy that I would make in a slow, methodical way, or even Western RPGs like Divinity: Original Sin 2. I just find that game excellent. Like, they're working on their next game. What's it called? I have early access to it. Baldur's Gate 3. I just think it's like, as long as they get those bugs out of there, and it's been early access for 2.5 years, it's going to be another 90 meta for them. But like Tales of Arise, I will say like is a really good exception. The combat in Tales of Arise is so sharp. Towards the end of the game, playing as Dohalim, I had this gameplay loop that it just felt like an adrenaline rush. I mean, I was just like, I don't know if you guys have ever played with Dohalim. If anybody knows, I'm a huge fan of people who use staffs. And Dohalim had like this spinning staff attack, and he could cast magic. You could step back and heal. It was just like, marriage in a game. And but that level of enjoyment in a real-time game rarely happens for me. Rarely. I mean, East gets close, but nothing gets as close as like a Trails game. And of course, there's a lot of Trails games.
Tell us about them, Kofi.
I know. We're talking about the podcast about game one. So Trails games, and then what's another like turn-based game that I really loved that I was playing? I like tactical games a lot. So like Jeanne d'Arc, Level 5's long forgotten PSP gem. And so I'm always drawn to tactics games. Like I'm so excited for Front Mission. I'd be more excited for the turn-based and Front Mission than I would be for something real-time JRPG based, for sure. Maybe with Tales being the exception, but
let me
so
ask
like
this.
one thing I'm going to throw out. One last thing I'm going to throw out is, no, we were talking about this last week, so I won't bring up too much. But like that's why I'm kind of like not so excited about Final Fantasy Reunion, just because like that type of combat where there's one button to attack, it just I don't, it's just not enough for me. So like. I see a lot of people posting on Twitter like, these are the RPGs I'm excited for, and a lot of people are listing Reunion. It's not going to be up there for me, guys. I might not even get the game.
Final Fantasy is one button to attack.
Reunion, not remake. Reunion.
Yeah, the Crisis Core, the Crisis Core remaster.
Yeah,
Seen that
one button. It's a one button game.
If it ain't a mainline Final Fantasy, you know what Square Enix does with that money.
Nah, come on. Strangers of Paradise is technically a mainline. It is.
Actually, so that game I think I would enjoy. I have not bought it. I just haven't had time. I think that game would be. But I like Team Ninja.
Square Enix treats you like the redheaded stepchild, like you damn Harry Potter living in the closet.
But I don't know about
under
that.
The stairs.
Because like, look at Live Alive. Live Alive looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Private Triangle Strategy looks fantastic.
I'm not saying that the games don't look good. I'm just saying they don't give them the money to like really.
But I think you're just talking about production value, not gameplay.
I think that might be true just for.
I'm not saying that the games are bad. I'm saying that Reunion doesn't have a fully fleshed combat system because they weren't given the assets to make that. That's what I'm saying.
I think you can drill down on that very specifically for everything that isn't mainline Final Fantasy VII or like main game Final Fantasy VII. All the other spin-offs are like, whatever, go like do Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not,
but
like we had this conversation before. I think like 2 weeks ago. I'm not saying that the games are bad. I'm saying the amount of resources that they allocate to allow these developers to make the game are just so much lesser that we see where things are cut short. Like you said, Reunion only has one button combat, so we see that. Due to them not having as much resources as they would have if they were doing a mainline Final Fantasy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not talking about game good or bad.
I think it's possible.
Yeah,
but
continue.
what I would like to ask or expand upon Omar's question, would you play... I can start you with the last place. I guess the lack of a better term for it is like, I guess, RPG manager. So effectively, you would train up your characters or equip them with everything, but the entire fight portion is automatic. It is to a lesser extent. But better than that, like better than how they implemented it. I can't. The only thing I can think of that keeps popping in my head at the moment is like how Monster Rancher operate. Where you weren't. Were you in control of the moves on Monster Rancher? I don't think so. Uh, yeah, I don't think you were. I could be wrong. But like it was, you trained your monster the best you knew how, and you sent them off to fight, and maybe they'd win, maybe they'd lose. Like who knows? It is just sort of. I think you can probably influence their move sets a bit, but like you aren't in full control in the same way we are in most JRPG. Like
Okay.
I think that could work. Maybe like a more expanded version of that. That's more of an idle game though.
It's
So
not
maybe
like
not
12, right? You're not saying like 12.
that. No, I think because I don't think that was the design of 12. I just think that's what everybody inevitably had to do with 12. All right. Here's how I imagine it. It almost like a reverse Moonlighter, where instead of being like the shopkeeper who doing everything, you are what's Tifa's master name? Master Zengen?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you are Master Zengen, and you operate a school to teach young would-be heroes and martial artists and blah blah blah. And like your portion of the game of all what you're doing is actively just sort of training these students, and they go off and do whatever. And some of them, like you keep them as your students in school. You teach them new techniques. You grow them to learn new techniques. But when it comes down time to fight or whatever, like you're not actively in control of them. That you let them go loose and do whatever you did based on like
You
how
gotta
you
you
train.
gotta trust the RNG gods at that point.
A little bit, yeah. And of course, you can probably influence it by like if I keep teaching them the strongest moves ever, they'll one shot everybody. But yes, there's a little bit of RNG gods in there as well. I think it could be interesting. But I'd be curious to know if like anybody would do something like that. So sort of like a hero manager, like similar to how like football manager, or I don't know what it's called in Madden 2K. Where like you're not individually doing the player, you're managing the team.
Gotcha. As for me, oh no, Zero. What about you? I mean, Pharaoh. What about you? Sorry.
I would say, me personally, I feel like the turn-based RPG really became a thing because when you were making RPGs a long time ago, you just didn't have the assets to really make action RPGs. Me personally, I prefer a well done action RPG because I feel like it gives me the closest representation of what of my character's fighting style. Like when I see it like in a video mode or something like that, like I actually feel like this guy can actually fight versus like me just seeing like slash, and then eventually I hit him enough that I earn enough points to do my special move. Like I prefer like my character being able to jump around, look cool, dodge. So I like the action more personally.
Pharaoh saw Advent Children one time. It was, this is the gold
No,
standard,
you
and
can
if it doesn't look like this, I don't want it.
you can ask Kofi. Like I've always been like, man, if you could combine like back then, I was like, man, if you can combine like Virtual Fighter and like something like Final Fantasy, where you had like the Virtual Fighter combat system, but you had the RPG, you had the like Final Fantasy type story. That was like always like my dream. Like back in the day, before we got to this point in gaming.
True that.
Okay. As for me, turn base all day, every day. I have been saying it for the. Yo, Coffee, you were on the very first episode of Game Slayer where I used that topic. I said that turn base is dying, and a lot of people were like, "Nah, you're wrong. You have Octopath Traveler." I'm like,
And
yeah,
turn base
that's
is dying.
I think 2020 hindsight 2020 you were wrong. There's a ton of games now that are coming out turn-based. You know, Trails has made like 5 turn-based games since we had that conversation.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
like, if you're being realistic, like most RPGs are double A, and I think for action RPGs, I think like the budget is a little bit more, so you don't really see a lot of double A, heavy action RPGs. I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist.
See some,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying it's not the norm
no,
because to make
what
that
I mean by
action,
that,
to make that action, it's not
turn-based
the norm. It's the
JRPG,
exception, not the standard.
I
Typically,
don't know,
action
but
RPGs are
they
a little bit
used
more
to,
expensive,
they used to
more
be
AAA.
turn-based.
mm,
Turn-based used to be big, but all of a sudden
Yeah,
it's not. And
it used to be big, but the bigger the budget, the more the RPG leans towards action RPG.
wait. So you're saying the OG Final Fantasy VII is turn-based, right? It's not action-based, even though with the ATB, right? Just to make sure.
Yeah, it's turn based.
Okay.
The old school, yeah.
Because there's still like
even
I see.
12 is turn-based. I'm talking X2 is turn-based. Even 12, the original 12 is also turn-based. Because you
Yeah,
need
I
to
mean,
wait for
you didn't
your
really, you
turn.
didn't. I mean, the
But
technology had I mean, 10-2 was on PlayStation 2, right?
but let me ask you
No,
this, like, because this is a tough question even for me. Do you consider Wolong a JRPG?
No.
no.
Why?
It's an action RPG.
RPG is an RPG. Like the combat system does not determine whether or not the game is a role playing game or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's. I mean, if you can level up and you have skills and you're playing a, role, it's a role playing game.
Because I
Yeah.
I think it could come down to preference. Like you're basically saying like there's not a lot of like action RPGs in the genre, but if you love Souls type games, then you might not say this. You might not say that. You might say there's tons because I'm playing all these Souls types. But if you
Saying there's not a
don't,
lot of them. I'm just saying that I'm saying that typically from what we see, the higher the budget when it comes to RPGs, the more those games lean toward an action RPG style.
I think there's
Just
small
saying.
budget action RPGs.
There are, yeah, that's
Oh,
it. But I'm saying typically higher budget. I mean, if you look up the last 10, AAA RPGs, I guarantee you, I would bet, off the top of my head, that the majority are action RPGs.
yeah, for big budget. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But weren't you
I
saying that
wanna
they're the
elaborate.
exception?
I
Huh?
wanna elaborate on something with Viper Reap. Viper Reap. At Game Player, it was a different conversation. It was Nate said that he find action RPG boring, and that's why I signed with action RPG because, in my opinion, turn-based is as boring if you compare it like that. That's why I said I'm all for action RPG. However, if I had to choose between one of the two, I'm absolutely choosing JRPG turn-based. Like I've been dying. Like one of the reasons why I've always wanted to play on the Switch is I wanted to play a Pokemon game on a big screen, and sadly they didn't. What's called um,
Man,
yeah,
if
do justice with Sword and Shield. Maybe with the next game they're gonna do
man,
justice with.
I tell you
Hopefully,
what, the day that they make a Pokemon game with a headset and you just give verbal commands the whole time like you do in real life, and they jumping over the place and all over the place and fighting, that's when Pokemon goes next level. Nobody wants to do that turn-based shit. Only 4 moves. I want to yell dodge Pikachu just like Ash does. Fuck
It
out of
would
here.
be for one game, and then they would immediately act like it never is.
Would
That's
be
how they
epic.
operate all the Pokemon. I don't doubt it, but like
It
that's how
would
they
be
operate
epic.
all the Pokemon games now. It's like here's this cool thing we did. Nah, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to give you something new now that might be cool or it might suck.
Can you imagine giving your Charizard a verbal command and he just basically says "fuck you" and like just kicks a rock at you?
Hmm.
That
That's
would be
the
amazing. That would be amazing.
But real talk, I'm genuinely frustrated with the lack of JRPG turn-based.
What?
There's not a
There's
lack
so
of it though.
many.
I'm
Yeah,
said
there's
talking.
it.
I'm
There's
talking.
so
Okay,
many.
I need to elaborate. Triple A
Oh,
turn-based JRPG
okay.
turn-based.
Triple
Like
A
I
turn
am
base.
said,
aware.
Okay.
I'm aware the top
turn-based.
of. Yeah, go ahead.
Turn-based is a product of two things: lack of budget and lack of technology existing to really deliver the vision that the artist had.
But
You know,
still, it's still a product. So it's a genre. Like,
That
yeah,
might be the case in the majority, but not always.
it
turn-based
started.
originally was a means to an end. It was never the.
But that's changed. Hello?
Yeah, it disappeared on me.
I'm not arguing that it hasn't changed. You know, my kid came, wanted a good night hug and kiss, so you know I had to do all that.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean it's just like it's a turn-based is a by it was a means to an end. Like and now that the technology is there and the developers are really able to deliver their vision, you know, with these bigger budget games, they're leaning more towards the action because it delivers their vision of their character.
That might be the majority, but that's not always the case.
I'm not saying
Like,
it's not always the case, but I'm just talking about the bigger the budget of the RPG, they lean like they're able to deliver their vision in a way that they choose action over turn based. Turn based is I believe that turn based is more of a result of restriction than desire, and I think that we've grown so accustomed to turn based, they've made really creative turn based systems that we became fans of it and we want to see more of it. But I don't think it was ever like, you know, we're diehard, you know, turn
so like,
based.
what do you think of like Yakuza 7 going turn based? Right? They had the budget to not be turn based.
Oh, they definitely have the budget to not be turn based. I think they understand that there is, you know, after, you know, we've been doing turn based for so long that people have developed the love for it,
Right.
and you know, they're just, you know, they understand the market, and they're delivering content that people enjoy. They're like Omar wants a AAA turn based game, and they understand that. They understand that there's a lot of people like Omar, so they do it.
But
But it's
here is
not.
the thing. Here is the thing, though. What comes to turn-based, people want turn-based, and also what you're getting with action JRPG. Like I remember seeing
I would say
gameplay
the
for.
purists, RPG purists want turn based. People that have been doing RPGs for a long time
That's
Yeah,
and are
fair.
used to turn based systems, they want turn based.
That's
But
fair.
people who are just coming into turn are just coming into RPGs and things like that, they prefer action. They haven't grown up and developed like, you know, these strategies that we have doing turn based for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more cultural for us. That's all that's all we had for a good like 20 years, you know, of gaming for a lot of us. We didn't have an option for action. Action was kind of new. It kind of came in, but we spent a lot of time, you know, like the closest thing to an action RPG that we had was what Legend of Zelda back in
No,
the
we
day.
had Star Ocean. We had Star Ocean, and we had Tails.
I'm talking about early.
Tails was on PS1.
I'm about like Legend of Zelda was around before
Oh,
PS1, man. We're
oh, okay.
going
I thought
way
you were talking
back.
about us. I think you're talking about us, though. You're not talking about us. You're talking about
No,
before.
no, I went way back. I'm talking about
Oh,
us. I'm going further back. You know, Legend of
okay.
Zelda predates the games that you're talking about. So
Yeah, that's
that's what
true.
I'm saying. Like
Well, I'll
Legend of
say
Zelda.
this: Star
Legend of
Ocean 1
Zelda
was
was
on
our.
SNES.
It was an action base.
Yeah, Star Ocean 1.
It came out
Super,
before Legend of
Super
Zelda.
Nintendo. Well, I mean, you're talking about NES. You're talking about NES. Yeah, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I was saying,
Okay.
Legend of Zelda is kind of like our first taste of an action RPG. You know, back in the day. So you know,
Yeah.
you
okay,
and then
but
they're like,
yeah,
oh no, this is not an RPG. We're gonna go. This is an action adventure
but
now. They took
the
away
issue,
leveling up and things like that.
the issue is you need to do something different with an action JRPG. Otherwise, you risk it being similar to all the other action RPGs. Like, for example, I saw gameplay of the new Trails of the Cold Steel, the one that's actiony now, and I had no idea what I was watching. For a second, I thought I was watching Tales of Arise
Yeah.
or even what's called what do you call it?
East.
Nexus. What do you call it?
Scarlet. Yeah.
Scarlet Nexus game,
Sorry.
and I played Scarlet Nexus game, so I know how
I love
that
Scarlet Nexus
gameplay
combat.
is. So I thought maybe it was additional content for Scarlet Nexus, because again, the gameplay is so similar with all these
You can say the
games
same
now.
thing for turn-based though. It's all very similar.
Turn-based, well, I agree with you, but at least turn-based had almost like different setting, different
Wait a minute.
characters and stuff like that. But with this, there is no real
So,
differentiation
so,
between the other. Yeah, go ahead, Kofi.
so I'll say this. So, if you're talking about the new Trails that comes out in Japan like in 2 days, it has an action version that is like East. Basically, you run around, you can do attacks. But like any important battle, you go into a turn-based mode. The only reason why I wouldn't make the argument that that's a game for you is you said AAA, and I don't know if I consider that game AAA. I think it's
No.
very
I'm
good.
just talking about
AA.
how action JRPGs almost like feels the same. All
I
of
see.
them.
Okay.
Would you
I
agree
see.
or disagree with that one?
Let me think. They do sometimes have a similar feel. Like I'm thinking like Arise versus Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think that they're distinct enough in setting that I don't get
Setting wise,
bored.
I agree, but it's just
Yeah.
you're almost always, running with three people with you. You're hacking and slashing calls a day, and you're meeting monsters in the open. It's
Yes.
to
Okay.
me, it's
So
like the
you bring up
reason.
something important though. That's kind of why I lean away from some action RPGs. For the same reason that you're saying, that it does kind of feel like the combat still isn't super impactful. And
No,
if it is, something else is lacking. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think I'll leave that one alone. I'm pretty much satisfied with that because of how
yeah,
immense it was. But
but okay,
Arise
okay,
had amazing combat, but no enemy variety. And that drove
okay.
me crazy. Like,
Let me ask you then
absolutely
with
insane.
Let me ask you with
You need
Final
that
Fantasy
money.
7 remake. Nah, Arise
I
had
keep
plenty
saying.
of no. Arise had plenty
It's
of money
It's
poured
still AAA
into
though.
it.
It's still AAA though.
Yeah.
It's still AAA, but it takes a lot of money to do
Nah, Arise
all
had
that voice
I agree.
acting, to develop that combat system, and then you got to create hundreds of variety of enemies for you to combat. That stuff gets expensive, and what when you talk about the lack of variety of enemies, like that's where you start to see budget constraints come in. Like those are
when
kind of budget
no
issues.
I agree.
no
Yes.
when you have a company focusing more on what's called on not loot boxes or microtransactions, it's just cosmetic on cosmetic stuff instead of action. That's the priority that they are
'Cause that makes
prioritizing.
money. That
No,
makes
it's
money.
not.
Making more enemies doesn't make you money. Like you got like you have to be very realistic when it comes to these JRPGs. They are a closed experience that are 60 to 100 hours. They cost a lot of money when you start doing voice acting and all of these other things. Like to do a AAA RPG is an extremely expensive endeavor with limited returns compared to other genres of games that are currently out on the market. Like it is very expensive to make a AAA RPG, especially fully AAA. We're gonna like completely flesh this out. It's expensive. Like
I agree.
we gotta be real here. Like it's very expensive.
It is.
I
Wait,
agree with that.
what? My Netflix is building its own. I will read it after what I want to say. Um, what comes to the RPG development, but yeah. Now, for example, the one thing that Valkyrie Elysium is doing different, you're one character. You can summon a few people to help you, but they do leave after, and you don't control them. You summon them, and they do their own thing. You're mostly focusing on yourself, your own skills, your own health bar, and that's fresh. That's something new. I am almost sick and tired of a group of 3 people, 4 people running around and doing the same thing over. It's
Even in
like,
turn-based, I mean, most
no,
turn-based,
again,
you only got 3 or 4 people with you.
yeah, but you have a different setting, you have different story. So here's the thing with with turn-based, it feels different. You have different mechanic,
I mean,
gameplay mechanic, but with this
I don't know
one,
of an RPG. I don't know of an RPG. I don't know of a Japanese RPG where I'm not running around with either 3 or 4 people. And like I can swap. There might be more members of my party that I can swap and interchange, but typically most JRPGs you're running around with 3 or 4 people, and you
yeah,
might have an 8 person. You might have an 8 to 12 person team, and you swap out those 8 to 12 people, but. In a single battle, you're only fighting with 3 to 4 people at a time. That's like the JRPG formula, whether it's action or turn based.
it just frustrates me that we're not getting a AAA JRPG. I'm dying for Legend of Dragoon. But yeah,
Yeah, you know why you're not getting Legend of Dragoon? Because with the budget it would take to make a fully fleshed out Legend of Dragoon AAA, Naughty Dog could probably pump out 3 or 4 games, 3 or 4 AAA games that take 20 that are 20-hour experiences like Last of Us,
My thing,
20
my
30
thing
hour experiences.
and that's the thing that I find tough with AAA JRPGs. I'm very excited about Remake and how it looks, and when I see Vincent, I might like freak out and go pay like a commission artist to make my Twitter profile Vincent because he's just amazing. And I love Tales of Arise and what they did. Like it just looks gorgeous, and the combat just is so great. Like the next the next Tales game that uses that engine, and I'm sure they can work on enemy. Because the issue I think was that they were working on that engine, the engine didn't make sense, and they had to probably work on it a lot because the final product kind of feels like it's missing some things. But the next Tales game, that next game is going to be amazing, in my personal opinion. Anyway, I say all that
And
to say,
being that it's a series, they're gonna probably reuse a lot of the same enemies
yeah,
and then add on top of those. So then
exactly,
you're gonna get more variety over time
in the
because
next game
they're not blowing the whole budget on Tales
on
of
the engine.
Arise, adding yeah
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they worked on, you could tell they worked on the engine. Because some of the like the co-op attacks of Tales of Arise are so cool. Like when
They are,
Ridwell
Scarlet
sends
for
the
sure.
Nexus.
ice. Oh,
You
Scarlet
right.
Nexus too.
Scarlet
Scarlet
Nexus
Nexus
had a
has some dope
limited
moments too.
That's
had
cool.
limited enemies, and you saw the budgetary restraints in the cutscenes, the way that they did those,
Yeah,
so
with the panel conversations. Yeah.
yeah, like
Mm,
those were due to budgetary constraints.
yeah.
So,
So I
when you
say all
see
that
it,
to say, like, I wish we could find, and I think some studios are doing this. I got to give Falcom some credit that AAA doesn't technically need to be like beautiful visuals. It could be something else, like more destruction or exploration variety. There's ways to make it impressive in other ways. It's just not easy to market. I think that moment in marketing is really tough. If it looks kind
Hmm.
of like a PS3 game, but let's say it has like the no enemies ever the same, it will be. I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem like that's a very
yeah.
exciting idea.
I want to say something to what's his name. Um, uh, oh, Viper is a mod now. Okay, I didn't know that. Viper saying that Tails have always had the panel conversation. Yes,
yeah, we were saying
but
that in
it
regards to
used to
Scarlet
be more
Nexus.
grandiose, unlike now with Tales of Arise,
No,
where
but no, yeah, we were talking about Scarlet Nexus, where a
Yeah, but
majority of it is like that.
we were talking about the panel combos. We were talking about Scarlet Nexus, not Tails.
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Card Nexus had great panel combos as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's bad, but you just kind of see how they navigate budget issues.
Yep.
You don't have unlimited budgets for these games. You just
Yeah,
don't.
because if we
And
did,
video
then
games,
every JRPG would have full voice acting all the time. Like we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to worry about panel conversations. But
yeah,
you know,
like these JRPGs are extremely. It's like a movie, but everything has to be like fucking hand done and coded, and you got to bring in voice actors. It's a lot. Like
and
And
it's
I'm
a lot. It's like how many hours of voice acting do we have? Like it's a lot.
Yeah, that's
You
one,
got to pay
especially
people.
Rise.
it's a
and I'll
lot.
die on this hill to like I don't think everything needs to be fully voice acted. I just don't. I don't know if it's just because how I play games, because like I do other stuff, but like one of my and I like Yakuza. One of my challenges is like I tend to watch TV while I'm playing Yakuza. Well, I gotta stop what I'm watching to listen to what they're talking about in Yakuza. I don't mind reading text. Like I just really don't mind doing that. Like
It depends on the game. But
I
yeah, I agree.
I can't imagine a world, and I feel like it would just take forever to get through. But I just can't imagine a world where Phoenix Wright is read aloud,
Well,
or
the
Danganronpa.
technology is coming. So I don't know if you pay attention to Microsoft's developer conferences, but they have a thing that they're making for like specifically for voice acting, where basically they like record like 10 hours of conversation from you. You sign up for it, they record like 10 hours of conversation, and then based on that 10 hours of conversation, they can like basically AI like random conversations using your voice, like fully AI. So then basically what they're going to be able to do in the future is like you'll be able to sign up for this, and developers be able to choose to use your voice, and like you could potentially get like a royalty for them using your voice, over time. So like, Kobe with the golden voice could end up being like in 76 different games saying things that he's never actually said before, but because of the AI, they just make it work.
Yeah,
Oh
a
yeah.
popular movie did that recently. Top Gun Maverick did that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it Viggo Mortensen?
So,
He like can't talk, but they used AI.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So basically basically in the future you may be able to license out your voice.
I'm still gonna skip past it. Like even when scenes are voice acted, I read faster than they're speaking, and I just like, all right, shut up, keep going. Like,
You're the person that watches YouTube videos on 2x speed.
I do. I watch it on 1.5, but yes, I do watch YouTube. Like I don't have all day.
Look at all day to watch this in real time. Speed this shit up.
I know what he's gonna say.
Okay. Final topic is E3 is back next year. Who's excited?
I won't say I'm excited, but I am happy that developers can come together and have a forum to showcase what they are working on to the public.
They already can do that with Summer Game Fest. Or they can do their own show.
Summer Game Fest is on a smaller scale, and some of these developers do not have the draw that an event like E3 has. So you could have a game on your own stage, but it won't get the eyes that it would need to be big. Like imagine like if Cuphead was shown on its own stage and it never got a chance to be seen at an E3. Like it'd be a game.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't have went nowhere. It would have been
wouldn't
very
have went
niche.
Yeah, it would have been it would have stayed a small game. There wouldn't be a Netflix TV show or anything like that. Like, being able to be on that type of stage where everyone can kind of see what you're working on is important for up and coming developers. Because you never know when you have a hit and you show up at E3 and you find out you have one when people see your game for the first time.
So, I am genuinely curious how they're gonna do, how E3 is gonna fare, because especially after that hack, where a lot of personal private information was stolen.
It is in person.
People are gonna show up.
But he's talking
I'm
about the
genuinely
negative
curious.
press. Yeah.
I think if Comic Con is anything to go by. People want to go back to these things. And
Yeah, they have all these
companies,
raves and shit and parties. Like, there's so much that goes on out around the event of E3 and
and,
Comic Con and stuff.
and I think companies still want that sort of in-person money. I like the idea of E3 coming back, and I like trade shows because that's what it is. It's a giant trade show, and that's like really cool because part of the dream of always going to E3 was like not only going there and seeing like the announcements, but like being on the floor, like playing the game, seeing the booths,
True.
being a part of this whole thing. Because I could sit home and just watch people show me what the new Last of Us looks like. Um,
Yep. Or you could be
but
there.
yeah, or I could
Or
be
getting
there,
pulled
but
to the back. You have a conversation with somebody. Next thing you know, you get pulled to the back and you see something that might not get seen for another 2-3 years. Like those
well.
type of things happen at E3.
And a part of it is like being a part of the Last of Us experience, right? So like you get to take pictures with clickers and do all this other type of stuff. That's not you can't do that with a virtual thing, and like that is very fun to be a part of and have a good time with. Um, I don't fault any company for not wanting to spend any of the money to have all of that's done because it is insanely expensive. But there is some level of pageantry that I get, and so I am happy that it's back. I just don't know in a strongly digital world now. Does E3 need to exist in at least the same way it used to anymore? I don't know. That's for E3 to figure out. Um, but I am glad that it's back. One of these days I'll get to go.
Oh, let's go. Let's go, bro. Let's go.
Yeah. Um, so I'm down. I would love to commit for next year, but I already got a couple of. I actually might not even be here when E3 is happening. Plus, I got to save my money for what you call it drops next year. Nintendo
So-
Land.
Oh.
Nintendo Land drops in California, I believe, sometime 2023.
Wow.
What's a
See,
Nintendo
boy.
draft?
Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land.
Oh, okay.
Between Nintendo Land and the Atari hotels that are popping up all across the world.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Universal Studios drops Nintendo Land. Gonna be there. Some of us don't live too close to California, Jubei, so it's a further ways away.
I mean, true.
I mean, it's
This
only
is why
Okay.
we
from
can
Denver.
we can we can
Denver's
start
like
the
a 3-hour
collection
flight, right?
plate. Yeah, it's short. It's a short flight.
Okay. With that being said, anyone have anything else they wanna comment about?
Cowboy slip.
Then yeah. Let's get to our outro. Shout out to you, Viper. You entertained us the entire conversation. And wow, this show didn't. Wow, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, if not longer. Zero, where people. No. Coffee, where people can find you.
As usual, everybody, you can find me at creative_Kofi on Twitter. I have some interesting games to talk about that are releasing this month and next month, and they are all not here yet. So I'll just talk about them when they arrive, but definitely excited to talk about them.
Did you
Import gamer, Creative Kofi.
try the
That's the-
third game from Square Enix that they released that you told me about? That
The Square Enix?
yeah, you told me a remake or a remaster of.
Oh, yes. I have not played it yet, but it's in the mail.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Jubei, where people can find you?
Yo, yeah, you can find me at Jubei X Sensei on gaming platforms, Ambu Smokage on Twitter, Jubei Sensei on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I will be again playing some Grounded this week. I do need to also start this damn JoJo game. It's installed. I just haven't touched it
Nice.
yet.
With
Let me know how
I
that
didn't realize
is.
that one came out in the. Yeah, I want to know.
with the
Yeah,
spider
I will.
mod on?
What's up?
You're gonna play Grounded with the spider mod on.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure. I am not. I refuse. I'm not fighting no damn spiders. I'm not fighting no damn spiders, B. It ain't gonna happen. I'm good. I will
Oh,
fight. I will fight
You're
blobs.
probably gonna
Not
What
fighting
do
no
they
spiders.
look? What do they look
Stream
like?
Your fear of spiders playing Grounded. Might get a
You
lot of
I
probably
hate.
views.
would.
Might.
You probably would.
I probably
What
will, and I hate it.
what do you see? What do you see when you fight the spiders?
Huh?
What do you see when you fight the spiders? What do they look
He
like?
Oh,
doesn't know.
oh,
He doesn't
they're
know. He fights it
blobs.
all.
They look like dittos.
Yeah, they're just
Like
giant blobs.
they don't got no limbs. They don't got
Yeah.
no limbs.
Oh my god, that's
Say
entertaining.
don't go to the desert because when I was in the desert, I saw spiders that were as big as my hand every day.
Okay, Shumen's gonna leave the Pharaoh companion.
Oh, and
You can find
hey,
me. Yeah,
Pharaoh, before you get CD found his hands just now. Damn bum. Go ahead.
yeah, he's bummed. You can find me on Twitter at Pharaoh Bizarre. And you can find me anywhere you like to watch streamers um, by searching the Land of Pharaoh. I haven't streamed in a while. Wife's doing some things, finishing up school, and I got kid duty a lot. But when I'm streaming, Land of Pharaoh is where you'll find me.
Hmm. As for me, people can find me at Carb_job on Twitter and Anime Squad every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a new co-host, and yeah, you can also find me at Game Player every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week's show was fantastic. I recommend you to go listen back to it. And with that being said, Zero, where people can find you, but also more importantly, where people can find us.
It's very funny when listening. See, oh
Hmm?
wait, don't forget nobody, and as always forget anybody. It just reminds me. Little known fact about me: I am a certified minister. Meaning I can marry people, and I have married 2 couples in my entire
Ah,
lifetime
cool.
so
Oh,
far.
hey! Fun fact: I am also I can also officiate weddings here in Colorado,
A
and I
minister
have married
gang.
exactly. I've married exactly one couple who I'm
Um,
still very good friends with.
yeah. So I married like 2 of my very good friends, and while doing the whole speech, I forgot to do the whole "Do you take this bride?" part of the
Ooh.
wedding piece. Just completely forgot it. I skipped straight to the end of like I now pronounce you man. And so every time I hear
You
Omar,
got the important part. You got the
yeah,
important part.
it immediately made me think about it because I heard Omar was like, and we're hold on, wait a minute, nope, got this one more person to do. Let's get that done, and then we'll be out. So that just that opened up a core memory. That's awesome. But anyway, if you want to continue to listen to my strange ramblings and things like this, please check us out, Vitamin G Podcast, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. As always, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us, chopping it up, listen, getting into our arguments, adding to them, disagreeing with us. It is always a great time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thumbs up, check marks, hit the bells, whatever like the lingo is. Go do that for us. But of course, even though we're always come together, we always separate, and it's very important that I want you please support my rest of my panel mates because they make this fun to do. And if they don't want to do it anymore, it would suck. So please support them. So that is Pharaoh, Land of Pharaoh. Check out his streams. That is uh, Kofi. Kofi underscore. What is your name, Kofi? I never see you anymore.
Creative underscore
Creative
Kofi. Yeah.
underscore
Yeah, creative
Kofi.
underscore Kofi. Yup.
Ask him to translate something, anything, whatever, like ancient text. You got it. Just like go do it. Ambu Smokage, Jube X Sensei. Jube, on the next show, hopefully we gotta carve out some time. We gotta talk about Street Fighter 6.
We
Gotta
do
talk
got to
about Street
we
Fighter
man,
6
we
on
got
the
to
show,
talk about
man.
it. We got to
Yeah.
talk about it.
Um.
I wish I could have got my hands on it. That's
See that's the joy of like the E3. Because you know if E3 was there when Street Fighter 6 was, they had boosts and you could like
that's why I'm trying to go, bro. I don't think Street
yeah,
Fighter 6 comes out before June next year. I think it hits like August.
you might be right. Yeah, so like that would be awesome. Last but of course, definitely not least, please check out our de facto leader today, Omar. Uh, at Game Slayer Podcast 5. Is it permanent? Did you permanently change it to 6, or was it that one time?
Sorry,
That's
can you
gonna.
repeat
I,
that?
I said, did you permanently change Game Slayer to 6 o'clock, or was it just that one
No, no,
time?
no, no, that was one time for coffee, because coffee
Okay,
couldn't make it earlier, so I had to switch it to 6. Thank you.
gotcha. Yeah, then go to 5 p.m. Saturdays Game Slayer or 5 p.m. Fridays Anime Squad. I promise I will do my best to be there for this one. Hopefully, like work won't keep me away as well. But as always, guys, just support the team and Dante Crisis. He couldn't be here this evening, but please go check out his streams. They are always a good time, and chances are you'll find one of us in there. But thank you so much. You literally could be doing anything else, but you decided to listen to us, so we appreciate you for that. So thank you so much.
Okay, with that being said, very, very, very quick, she raised $400 in charity with gaming, so I just wanna shout her out. And her name is, we call her, I don't know what it's called. Her name is Stone at AD Arc with 2K Night with 2 T's. She just trade with a shared stream $400 for charity. So shout out to her. Absolutely amazing human being. With that being said, thank you all for coming through. Shout out to Sean, shout out to the mods, and yeah, see you next week. Oh yeah, and keep it gaming. I forgot to say that.